This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits. If you don't do your job, I'll shoot you. You get me?
We get you, sir!
Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Ratcats Roughnecks!
Everybody always asks me, Rolo, what song is that in the intro? Well, I'm going to show you in a little bit. Very old song that I have re-recorded with the new band, so it's available now if you'd like to get it. But we'll cover that in a moment. Today we're going to talk about sneaky effers. Can't say the actual word until the 30-minute mark, but that's okay. We're a family-friendly show, right? Right, Cal? Yes. We're family-friendly here. Las Vegas? Yes, it's for family.
Totally.
It's for families again. Oh, God. God, this guy. God, what am I going to do? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, man. God, this dude.
Things I can't touch at home. These blankets, the pillows are just here for decoration. I'm not allowed to lay on it during the day. It's a process whenever it's time to go to sleep. I gotta move all these blankets, these pillows, and we don't even use this blanket, we use another blanket to go to sleep. It's not even here. Like these towels that are sitting conveniently next to the sink, I can't use them. What I gotta do is I gotta use one of the towels that I took a shower with that's already been here for like 3 days. Also, these towels right here that are next to the shower, I can't use them. They're just here for decoration. Also, these Q-tips that are right here, I cannot use them. What I gotta do is I gotta open this and use the ones inside here. Candles, we got one here.
Candles.
Here, here. We're not allowed to light them because they're just here for decoration. This dining table that's set up perfectly with these plates, we're not allowed to use it. These chairs, I cannot even sit on them. What we do is, we got a smaller table, but we eat with paper plates because my wife doesn't like to wash dishes. In our guest restroom, if I run out of toilet paper, I can't use this. It's just for decoration. I gotta call my wife to bring me more toilet paper. This blanket right here, if I get cold while I'm watching a movie, I cannot use it. I gotta go bring them from the room because it's just for decoration. These pillows right here, I'm not allowed to use them because they're just here for decoration.
Everything in his whole fucking house is it's like a set piece, man. Oh Jesus, yeah! Please never be this dude.
Deeper? Like, should we go deep? When's the last time you cried?
Yeah.
You're trying to cry now?
No, I lost my best friend this year, so it's still been a hard thing for me.
I'm so sorry.
Like, you made me think about it.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
All right, look at that dude. Do you think he's a good-looking dude? Like he has that kind of like classic kind of like
he's colored eyes too, right?
Yeah, if that too, and he has that kind of Jeremy Meeks kind of
Yes.
Male model look to him. Okay, so like remember, that's the level of attractiveness.
Can we give him a hug?
Wait, is that allowed?
Can we give him a group hug? Oh my gosh.
Group hug?
So sorry.
It's fine.
I feel so bad. Get the tissues. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
It's hard. I'm not gonna joke. That was my brother.
And whose question was that? No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
And then I was just like mildly uncomfortable, which is nothing against him. Yeah.
Fifth, we have West at 7 points.
Lowest attractiveness in the whole show. I'm telling you, man. That's sometimes people tell you, "Oh, be vulnerable, cry a little bit more, dude." It's like the fucking kiss of death, man. Where does this go? Okay.
And why your relationship falls apart when you start telling the truth, because you built it on lies. A lot of the time, vulnerability is the only way to really start a relationship because it requires a tremendous amount of courage. And by the way, there's an exceptional amount of power in that because it's the truth about you. And if I can be truthful from the beginning, perhaps maybe most people will reject it and I'll feel insecure about the things that are me. And over time, I'll start connecting to me. And then I'll start presenting something true from the beginning and we will will continue to build off that foundation of truth versus what everybody else does, which is, let me tell them something that they like to hear. Let me be someone that they will easily accept.
Yeah.
What do you think happens 3 months in when you start being you, and when the curtains drop, and when the act stops? They look you in the eye and they go, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's even worse now, because you knew you were a fraud from the beginning. And then now when you're true, you're rejected for it. Ooh. If you're not aware of that, you're going to become a monster really damn quick.
Yeah, except the fact is like once you start becoming vulnerable 3 months later, then they find out that you're really a pussy. So
want you to drop every bad habit only to leave you once you do it. So why do they want you to drop every bad habit? Because you're a utility to her survival. So it's not that video games and sitting there watching the football game is a turnoff. It's a turnoff because she looks at you as a utility and she goes, you could be spending this time better serving me by figuring out how to make more money. See, they don't want you to have your own pleasure. It's all about them. They only care about themselves. This is their natural survival instinct, is to fully have their own self-preservation and their own survival instincts, because all they care about is not only themselves, but the survival of their future children. She does not give a shit about you. She doesn't want you to have pleasure. She doesn't care if you're happy. When you're sitting there playing video games, she's going, how can I get this man to better serve me? How can I get him to work more and be ambitious so I have a better life? It's all about her. Well, once you show that you're able to be changed, she doubts your value again, because you show that you can be moved off center, and now you've changed for her. You've listened to her words, essentially, and desire drops anyways. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
For 2.5 months before we got engaged. That was pretty funny, actually. Like maybe 2 months in. Actually, so our first date was September 5th, and we got engaged December 22nd.
Was she at all surprised?
Well, what was really funny is that about mid-November, November 15th, I remember all the dates. November 15th, it was the first time I said I love you to my wife, and she said thank you. And that lasted for about a month. That was a very awkward month. It was like I'd finish every phone call, I'd be like, love you, sweetheart, thanks, bye. So that was real awkward. But the reason she was doing that, and it made sense, is because of what happened next, right? December 15th.
No, the reason she was doing that, Ben, was because she had no earthly arousal or attraction to you and could not believe she was like, you were pursuing her.
She says to me, I love you too. And she knew what was going to happen. She said then the next words out of my mouth were, okay, let's get married. Like, we're done. Okay, I love you. You love me. We're done. Let's get married. Let's have kids. Let's have a life together. And she goes, let's just enjoy this time. So I'm not enjoying this time. This is miserable for me. Like, what are you talking about? If you're a religious person dating for marriage.
Yeah, you want to get to the sex part very, very quickly.
The worst thing is the dating. The dating and the engagement sucks. Like, if you're a religious person, then you get to.
So I got to stop this right here, because like one of the things that really kind of pisses me off about dudes like this who think that this is the correct way to do shit is it entirely bypasses the arousal and the attraction and goes straight into rapport and familiarity and hey, let's just be mom and dad now. And it's because that, like, guys who don't fuck, their entire existence when it comes to dating is getting past he said it himself, getting past the awkward stage of, do we like each other? Do we want to fuck each other? Are we hot for each other? Are we not hot for each other? And I could tell you right now, his wife had no sexual interest in him and probably still doesn't today.
Married, you get to sleep with the person, you get to live with the person, but life, but like that's all the rest of this is just delay. So she's like, why don't we enjoy this? I'm like, you don't understand. I'm not enjoying this at all. This sucks. Like, I want to lock this down. We'll be done. It'll be great. This will be over.
Lock this down. I want to get laid.
Over this period of our life, she was like, well, let's just think about it. A week later, we got engaged.
Let's just think about it. All right. Now, here's the reason why I'm actually posting that on here is, where'd it go? Oh, here you go.
Like to be pursued. Men, I think, like to feel like they're earning a woman.
Women like to be pursued?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of that comes from insecurity. Not you particularly, but I think that women like that idea of being pursued. You're just going to get a silent predator if you continue pursuing that.
No, I think women, they
would that make Ben Shapiro a silent predator?
like consistency, and they like knowing that the man wants them.
Of course, to desire a woman and to pursue a woman are two very different things.
What
right?
is pursuing in your words?
Well, for example, in a lot of ways, you go on a date with a girl. Who's supposed to hit up who? Persistency, women typically think is desire. It's not desire. Desire is inviting somebody to be in your life. Now, there's also a certain point where he goes, hey, I'd like to see you tomorrow.
No, not Tali. I like this guy. I want to like him more than I do, but like every now and then he kind of just like leans back into like sort of like the blue pill, purple pill pussy shit. No, dude, it's about, do I want to fuck this person?
And if there's an insecurity that a girl has and she goes, well, that's not enough, I want him to chase me.
Yeah, and I think that's playing games, and I don't promote that.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing doesn't work. And the other thing is, I should also point out, there's a difference between pursuit and chasing. Like the whole thing about, I love it when I listen to somebody like Rich Cooper, and he's like, yeah, chase excellence, don't chase women. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like chasing little girls in the fucking, school playground and pulling their pigtails and shit like that. It's like, God damn it, man. All right, so we will return to that one, but this one was this will really put the knife in.
Men that have been able to make me squirt are from Spain.
Oh
my
the
God.
Spaniards. But the European men are like a different breed in the bedroom.
Everyone says that.
The only time I've ever cried at the end of a scene, happy tears, it was from a European guy, Chris Diamond, who just obliterated me.
In the best way.
We stopped and they're like, how was that? And I just started crying because I was like, that was the craziest experience. I'm never going to have that again. It'll be the best of my life when I'm in my 90s in a nursing home. I'll be like, one time Chris Diamond railed me so hard I cried. People will be like, yeah, grandma, whatever.
Imagine that. Imagine grandma at 90 years old. Imagine you like, well, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. That's too. I'm going to leave that one.
Biggest thing you hate about women?
The biggest thing I hate about women is that, that one Billie Eilish quote, she said,
You give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world.
That's it right there. Okay. You look at that statement, you see how invalid that is. As a young man coming up, you see how they're just trying to put you down, okay? Now, if the roles were reversed, this would be a cancelable offense for us. Okay. You understand that?
Okay.
So I think that, there are double standards, okay? And we have to look at these. We don't let this shit slide. Okay. Pause. Okay? We just have to realize that, if you're going to say that about us, and you expect us to not say that about you, let's take a step back. Let's look at the situation, all right?
Of high value male, go for it.
Based on 4 pillars. Pillar number 1, financial success. The second, someone who's well-groomed. Third, someone who's verifiable. And then networked. Those are the 4 criteria.
My problem.
Okay. Do you guys remember that bullshit when people were like, Rollo didn't tell us what a high value man is? I said, okay, a high value man is a man that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. Oh, it's too general. Give us something specific. She just gave you some things that were specific. And this is why I kind of I want to like Naftali here.
With it, particularly, are a few things. One of them is what determines a high value man is all of the things that you've labeled. None of them are characteristics.
Like qualities, soft qualities?
Qualities, honesty, ambitious, hardworking, determined.
Because in order to rise to the ranks of, let's say, a Fortune 500 company, in order to consistently make $100,000 a year plus.
There's capacity. That's one level for men that they.
Here's the thing. Women marry a lifestyle. They don't marry a man.
Do need to have. And then there's also characteristics. And those characteristics are going to be far better, especially when it comes to mate selection, because you could take a very successful, well-networked, but he could be about as masculine as a raccoon.
Put that man on a dating app and put a man who has honesty and integrity, but not a great job, not making a lot of money, not in shape. Who's going to get more matches? Who has more leverage? Who has more bargaining
The hotter guy.
power in the dating market?
Let's be fucking honest here. I think her name was Alex or so. She was on this chick has been on Access Vegas once before. No, the hotter guy. The hotter guy always gets more matches. I don't care what remember the guy who did the experiment. He took that one shot of that male model and said, I was recently convicted of child molestation or something like that, and I was I don't know, I'm a convicted felon or something like that, and I rarely shower. Didn't matter one bit.
It is the first, not the latter.
What you're talking about isn't so much a dating market, more than it's a distortion of a dating market. Because if it was a dating market, people would be having children, getting married, engaging in long-term relationships. No, what you're describing is short-term usage of other human beings through platforms that make people think they're high value when really they're just insecure and deeply capable.
And that's why I want to like this guy. Now, Rollo, what's your last one? What's your definition of a There's your high. That's where are you? That's your high value guy right there. Oh my God! Welcome to the show. Welcome. I hope you guys still like me doing those in the beginning. The reason I started doing that, I started putting like videos in the very first of the show, was because I had so many of you guys like throwing shit at me on Instagram and Twitter and God knows whatever else. I have people just email me clips now. Hey, use this on the show, right? And I'm like, okay. I seriously, like, would you like to know my process? I'll let you behind the scenes here. Whenever I do the show, I start Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning I go. Thank you. It's freezing fucking cold today, man. I had to get long sleeves today. It's like we have a high of 47 in Las Vegas today, and that's fucking cold here. There's no snow on the ground, but god damn. No, so my process is this. I get up pretty early on Sundays because I know I got a shit ton of things to do, because I still got to run the dog. I got to get to the gym. I got to do some other stuff too. But like, so I start my process for doing the pre-show prep for this show on Saturday evening, and that means I am like downloading. My wife's watching like something on like Netflix or something like that, and here I am on the laptop just poking away at it. Like, that would be good. But I have to go through the videos that people throw at me and say, hey, can you? I never do more than 10, and even that's probably a little too much. But because StreamYard won't let me have more than 10. But at least preloaded anyway. So what I do is I go and I grab the ones that I think are going to be cool. I put them in a folder, and then literally today, I'll see how many did I have today. I had something like 20 videos, and I can only put 10 of them out. So I might talk about them. I might save them for some. Like one of the things Mike likes to do on Access Vegas is he likes to react to videos and stuff. And so because those are good conversation starters. So that's how I started out, and then. And then once I kind of get things rolling along on a Sunday, then I'll do the thumbnail, and then I'll do the show prep, and then I come down here, and then we got more show prep to do when we're in here. It's become a lot more complicated than just sitting in my home studio and going, what am I going to talk about today? But I thought I like it when you guys send me like humorous ones too, because those are the ones that I usually use at the beginning and then at the end. But just to let you guys know. So part of my show prep is once I've got the topic, and you usually kind of choose that sometime during the week, then I'll take that and I will, that'll be my topic. And, I'm hoping against hope, like by Wednesday, and remember the show's on Sunday. So by Wednesday, I'm like, okay, I really want to see what topic's going to be doing good. Right. And then like, of course, what happens is then I have to go do a show, about a 2-hour show with Mike and Tristan and TC about the Joy, what's her name? What's the Joy Taylor? Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless and all that stuff. And let me tell you something. The last time I even considered Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith was when I was doing the show with Pat Campbell back in like 2017, 2018. And that's when they were still doing their show together. And I remember she came in, and I'm like, this is a woman that, and I mentioned it at the time, like this was a male space, and a woman had come into the male space, and she fundamentally changed the dynamic of that space. And that was really kind of what got me and Pat Campbell kind of rolling, and at least on that topic. And I have not talked about Skip Bayless. I didn't even know he was in a lawsuit, right? Of course he's in a lawsuit. And then, of course, Stephen A. Smith has left the show, and probably wisely so. But you still have Joy Taylor there. You got the shit that's going on with all the execs with that guy Dixon. By the way, really, Joy? God damn, the guy looks like he has head trauma. But then what's the other guy? Ashko? What's his name? The other guy who's one of the execs there. I forget the guy, the black dude. I can't remember his name. Anyways, they'll come back to it. Doesn't matter. But I thought what was interesting about that whole situation is that people care more about that drama, and there's more engagement over her talking to her to the hairdresser about how she was going to basically fuck her way to the top, right? She's following the Brittany Renner plan for some life success, right? And got all up in it, and that's it. It is what it is. And I like, who cares? Yeah, I don't give. Who cares, right? Well, apparently a shit ton of people fucking care there, Ryan. I don't care if you don't care. Well, what do you care about, Ryan? Here's that attention you wanted, dude. Here. Okay. Well, what do you care about? Tell us what. Well, we'll wait. Tell us what you care about, brother man.
Hate watching.
Yeah, hate watcher. No, I know what he's waiting for. I know exactly what he's waiting for. Should we just skip to the part where we start talking about the Jews? Because that's basically probably what he's waiting for. No, Skip Bayless, the whole thing about him, like propositioning this hairdresser for like to the tune of $1.5 million, right? He wants to throw this kind of money at her, and she says she's got like ovarian cancer. And I'm like, I thought about that for a minute, and I think everybody's like kind of saying, well, he's really persistent. He really wants to fuck her. I don't think so. I think he offered that $1.5 million to help her with the cancer treatment. It wasn't him saying, I'll give you $1.5 million to fuck me. It was, well, probably yes. I guess that's probably included in the deal. But because he was going to give her some money so that she could use that money for her medical treatment, whether or not it's true or not. I think she probably just said that to like get him out of my fucking face, kind of thing. Right. So, yeah, I you know what? Quite honestly, Ron, I don't care either. I really don't, but I think the only thing that I really do care about is sort of the human dynamic in all of this. Is everybody jumped in on this with both feet. There's so many people doing YouTube reaction videos to this thing as it sort of unfolds, and of course, Mike's like, "We got to jump in on this." I'm like, "All right." I knew a little bit about it. I mean, I know who the people are. I know who the players are. I know who Shannon Sharp is. I know who Stephen A. Smith is. And the reason why I know Stephen A. Smith is because he used to come up with some like really good red pill takes. And I remember when he would like once in a while he would pop off about like how women ain't shit, or he would pop off about something, right, about intersexual dynamics. And oh yeah, by the way, yeah, don't worry, that's coming. I got you on that one, Joe. Yes, don't worry, that's in today's notes. Yeah, Amala, our good friend Amala, who got booted by PragerU, and now I think we understand why. So when I'm talking with, if you haven't seen it, I don't know if the episode's out yet. I think maybe it is, but it's on Mike's channel. It's on Michael Sartain podcast. And it's I think they pared it down to about an hour and a half. We went for 2 hours, but like we actually have MOA editors, video editors, like kind of like paring it down for content. It was actually a pretty good show. So, but we talked about more than just big cans of peanut butter skin. Yeah, Acho, that's who it was, Emmanuel Acho. Yeah, and I think people care about it probably because it's just salacious, just because it is what it is. But I want to tell you this, is that what I was sort of mostly amazed by is this is ESPN, right? I mean, this is Sports Center, Sports Talk. What the hell? I don't even know what the show's called now. We're supposed to be talking about sports. But you know what's the most popular topic on it? Talking shit about Joy Taylor. That's what it is. Like, congratulations, Joy. You succeeded in your plan of completely destroying the show. Right. And, looking at some of, like, she shows up on people's podcasts now and then and wants to talk about how hard it is to get your way to the top as a black woman in the sports thing and everything like that. And then yet she's like confessing to the hairdresser, yeah, I'm basically fucking my way to the top. And if I have to fuck this guy Dixon and then go back to Acho, then that's what I'm going to do. Allegedly. Can't say it's official. That's just what I saw in the deposition. So, but yeah, I thought it was interesting. There's a few red pill. I normally I wouldn't get into something like this, but there's a few red pill sort of truisms that go along with this. So that's why I jumped in on it. But I'm like, I can't make that the topic of today's show. See, so I let you off lightly. But then I started looking at a few other things, and of course, I've been tracking the Justin Baldoni drama as well. And I figured I would jump in on that, but like more on the principle of what we call sneaky fuckers, right? The sneaky fucker, the cuttlefish, not cuddlefish. Cuttle with T, 2 T's, Cuttle. Yeah, cuttlefish. People think I say cuttlefish when I like, no, what cuttlefish? No, it's a sneaky fucker game. And I brought this up when Mike and I and Tristan did the show about Justin Baldoni. There, just a quick update is on on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I would play this clip if I didn't think Joe Rogan would like completely demonetize this entire show if I did that, because they are mercenary about their copyright strikes. So, but I will let you know, it is, I think it's about a month ago. It was Joe Rogan and Mike Benz. Mike Benz is a former official with the U.S. Department of State and current executive director of the Foundation for Freedom Online. Is a free speech watchdog organization dedicated to restoring the promise of a free and open internet. Okay, so that was I'm reading from the description there. There's 1.8 million views on this.
We could play the audio.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Have it as a
Can we? I don't want to dig too. I'll just give you the breakdown. I think people should probably go watch this in its entirety anyways. But anyways, Mike Benz was talking exactly about Arizona State University, the McCain Institute, and the DHS, and not just in terms of the NGO that was coming after me and Aaron Clary and Rich Cooper and the rest of these guys who are on that list. This is a concerted effort to repress free speech in the United States. It is, and it's meant to be kind of sneaky, like to do little end arounds and stuff like that. That's why it's a DHS/NGO project, right? So that your tax dollars never really trace back to the DHS. It goes through the money goes through ASU and the McCain Institute, and then it goes to places like Diverting Hate, which is one NGO of dozens of other ones, which he was talking about as well. And it's just more fuel for the fire. I didn't even realize, I mean, this was a month ago. I didn't even realize this was a thing, but the reason why I started taking a newer interest in this is because I had people asking me about Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Zuckerberg's change of heart recently, and how Mark Zuckerberg has decided that Meta is going to allow conversations about the trans community. They're going to allow conversations about race. They're going to be a little bit more proactive, I guess, about allowing certain topics to be talked about and discussed. Did I just lose the stream? How did I lose the stream? Oh, that's it. Hang on. Are you still up?
Yep.
Still up. Why am I not getting this? Hold on, I'm gonna reset. Still kind of need to have this going. Glad you got it going, because I don't. Much better. Okay. Did it come back? Yeah, I dropped out. Hang on. I'm still up on yours. I'm just not up on mine. Yeah, much better. Okay, now I'm back. Cool. I think I had too much media going at the same time. That's what happens like when you start playing like these big, like, data heavy things in the background. So yeah, the people are asking me about Mark Zuckerberg, and like, do you think it's real? Do you think he's for real? Like, we talked about it on the show with TC and Tristan too. And I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, he's decided that he wants to be a human now. I think the full like transformation has happened. He's talking about masculinity. He's talking about like, well, I wasn't really all that masculine until I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever. What's the martial arts he does now? Yeah. And I'm like, I wonder how his mail order wife feels about all of this, man. But I thought what was funny is what was interesting. Oh, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, they were talking about the audio. I guess we're okay. Good. Oh, we're still up. Okay, thanks, Sammy. Sammy hit me back. Sam Bada's in the house. Go show him some respect here. Oh, do I have one? Hang on. Where'd it go? There it is. That guy should tell his wife that his wallet is just for decoration. That guy. Yeah, that's the Bed Bath and Beyond marriage. Yeah, I wonder like who makes the most amount of money in that arrangement. I wonder who's paying for all of those decorations in there. Yeah, and if you guessed his wife, probably is. So people ask me about Mark Zuckerberg, and do you think that he's gonna follow through with this? There's a part of me that's saying, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think it's primarily because there's a new boss in town. When Trump comes into office, the first thing he said he's going to do is defund shit like the DHS and ASU and the McCain Institute and all these other organizations that are that have been essentially abridging and censoring certainly my right to free speech, right? And Aaron Clary's and Rich Cooper's and MTR and Fresh and Fit and God Pearl and everybody else, right? As if it's some sort of experiment, but it's not an experiment. It's meant deliberately to silence voices that they disapprove of and to encourage and emphasize voices such as Justin Baldoni's. And people kept saying, well, how do we know it's actually Justin Baldoni that you're getting your traffic? Because it's in the fucking report. It's in the fucking biannual and the biannual NGO Diverting Hate report, which is no longer available because as soon as me and this girl Bex, as soon as we made it public, they took it down. And they also deleted their Twitter accounts, and this was back in March of 2024. Almost like within 36 hours of us going public with this, because they made the report public. And God, thank you, Bex, for make sure you downloaded that PDF, because I don't know who else would be able to get it. But I think we've done a pretty good job in sort of disseminating this and making people aware of it. And of course, back then in March, everybody thought Rollo, that old man, he's just a fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm not sounding so crazy now. But I think what's happening is you'll see, I noticed this as soon as that video surfaced. As soon as that video came out that showed Donald Trump had to have been reading from a teleprompter, because he certainly wasn't freestyling. But he was talking about how he was going to defund all of these programs that are essentially there to do nothing but to censor the right to free speech, and of course, primarily, conservative voices. And I don't consider myself a conservative voice, but I am in the manosphere. And I think a lot of people, uneducated dumb fucks who conflate the red pill with conservative politics, want to throw us, the manosphere, into that really wide net as well. Now, are there a lot of guys who are conservative in the manosphere? Absolutely. But that was never like the initial intent or the initial, mission statement for it, right? We weren't like, nobody in the manosphere was going, I wonder how we can get Donald Trump elected, right? We were talking about intersectional dynamics for a very long time. That people took the red pill and applied it to their pet ideology. That's on them, man. I have never encouraged anybody to vote for anything on this show. I've never said, hey, vote for Trump, vote for Biden, vote for this guy, vote for that guy. I've never endorsed a candidate. I've never I try to tactically avoid topics when it comes to politics, unless it has something to do with intersectional dynamics, right? If some politician is caught with his pants down with some hooker in a hotel room somewhere, fair game. I will talk about that, right? Because that's a crossover between intersectional dynamics and politics. Religion. I don't talk about religion per se. I don't go and say, here's my beliefs and here's what I think you ought to believe. And I don't proselytize. I don't do anything like that. But if I write a book called Religion, about the confluence of red pill topics and concepts and religion, that's fair game. Then I will talk about that. I don't talk about ethno-nationalism. I don't talk about anybody's national supremacism. In fact, I tactically avoid stuff like that. There are people who do it, and they do it way better than I do. They have bigger accounts than I do. If you want that, go listen to them. I'm not about that. But if people want to say, what do you think? Do you think black people get more pussy than white people? Then we can start talking about intersectional dynamics from a race perspective. But I don't get into those topics just in a solitary way. So from that perspective, I don't know why I would even be on this list, but I kind of do, because my voice has been a very prominent one for 20 some odd years now. So I get it. But the thing that comes down to it is, like, when people want to say, well, we don't know that it was Justin Baldoni, though you were going. I'm like, no, his podcast is actually named in the report. We are sending Rollo's traffic to Man Enough. That's it. And I can only presume that the people at Man Enough and Justin Baldoni had to have been aware of that because they're doing ad buys for his fucking channel. So whether he was complicit in it or compliant in it or he was intentional in it, I don't know, but I do know this: the guy had to have been aware of it. And God, have you seen the new exchanges between Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni?
Yes.
God, now I'm gonna have to watch that fucking movie. I'm gonna have to watch Deadpool and Wolverine because
I can bring up the clip.
We'll get copyright strikes for that, though.
Well, we can maybe play the audio.
Well, if you've seen the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, and why would you, right? But there's a part in there where I guess there's a duplicate of Deadpool, and it's Nice Pool.
Nice Pool, yeah.
And Nice Pool looks exactly like Justin Baldoni.
Man bun and all.
Man bun and everything, and talking about how his wife is snapped back from pregnancy and like just dropping all of these. And people at the time, before they knew that there was this, like some sort of scandal or some sort of like friction between the two of them, they probably just laughed it off like, oh, you know. But those were very specific references now. And I was looking at that, I was going, yeah, he intended to do that. That was intentional. Nice Pool. Yeah.
Profiting from women's suffrage.
Yes, exactly. And I was just like, oh, God. So that's kind of gave me the germ of the idea for today's topic, which is male feminists and why guys think that sort of becoming more alike when it comes to femininity, when it becomes like when they feminize themselves, essentially, is in some way Wolverine died in the movie. Well, did he?
He died in Logan.
Oh, he died in Logan. Oh, yeah. Old man Logan. Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that, and I'm watching what's going on, what's unfolding with Justin Baldoni, and I thought this is actually a pretty good, more universal topic, because I have a lot of people who ask me like, why do guys do this? Like, we got this guy, that one dude who was talking about how women want you to give up everything. Right? They don't, unless it is something that is directly related to them, unless it's something that, and guys will do it. And why will they do it? Because they want to seem more compatible. They think there's something wrong with them. And if they fix something about themselves, if they go to therapy, if they heal, I love seeing these videos. They're not even videos. They're like just short clips and Instagram reels. And I don't even know who these people are. They're sexperts, right? They're marriage experts. And they want to talk about like, oh, the healed man. If he's going to therapy, that's hot. No, it's not. We just saw the kid that was on that fucking dating show was crying. That guy's a good looking. If that guy had not cried, where would he be in the ranks? Would he be at number 1? Because remember, he was ranked 5th.
I feel it's either going to be middle of the pack or at least not.
At least a middle, yeah. If not number 1, right? Because as you've heard me and Mike talk about this before, is like perception is everything. Like seeing those images on TV, like Mike, it was really hard for me to listen to Mike say this at one point, but now I kind of get it. Is like Mike had this one video and he was doing an interview of this guy and he was saying, you have to play the game. You have to participate. You have to put yourself out there. And he was saying, do I want to put puppy dog ears and puppy dog filter, like the nose and the ear thing filter from, for Instagram? No, it's gay. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Right. I would never, it's beneath me, but he'll do it because that's what the chicks laugh at. That's what they want to see. Right. And people say, well, that's dancing monkey shit, right? You're doing triple monkey backflips. Yes, I know where that comes from. And you're basically at the dancing monkey game. And I'm like, well, if it works, and then I thought about it and I go, why does it work? Why would putting the puppy dog filter on your face for an Instagram reel, why would that get better engagement than just like going out there and being direct about stuff, right? Because it's perception. And that's what women, respond to and react to. Like when Naftali was talking about like vulnerability and all this other shit like that. It's like, no, it's the perception is what it is. It's not like, what was that? The chick who was talking about, no, it was Alex, that chick that was with him in a couple of those other videos. And she wants to say, oh, well, if you've got this guy and he's on Tinder or he's on one of the dating apps or something like that, and he has all this stuff, And, it doesn't matter if he's got, she was right. It doesn't matter if he's got, ambition or drive or whatever, as long as if he's in a Fortune 500 company, it would prove that he has to have ambition, right? Not necessarily. And it was funny because she kept saying, she wasn't really looking at the underlying sort of ephemeral qualities that are necessary to achieve things like the success that she was looking for. And I thought this is kind of a moot point, because the minute you go on Tinder, you're not like this guy. I could say I have a Lamborghini. I could say I have $1 million. I could say I play. I'm the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. I could say whatever I want to fucking say, right? And it's all about perception. And you're going to get those clicks, and you're going to get those hits, like the guy that did the experiment with the male model, like that guy. When he's saying, "Hey, look, I don't bathe. I bathe once a week, and I have I was never convicted, but I have a felony account or something, or some sort of conviction, whatever, for sexual assault or something like that." Right? Didn't matter. The guy had so many. Like, women were just, they didn't care. They were just like, hey, you can assault me anytime you want, right? It's like the Chris Brown effect. Remember when Chris was, it was Chris Brown when he like whacked Rihanna a few times, and
Swiffer.
And remember, this was like, what was it, 2015, 2014, something like that? Yeah. And so what's all over Twitter? Oh, he can hit me up, and he can smack me up anytime he wants to. He's Chris Brown. I'm like,
illusion.
Yeah. And who would you want as the Raiders head coach besides Gruden? No one. Only Gruden. I want Gruden back is what I want, but it's not going to happen. I don't know. That's a tough question. I should ask Mike that, who he would want on the anybody who we have now. we have this multi-bajillion dollar, a stadium over Allegiant, right over here. It's beautiful, man. The place looks like the Death Star. Not a dime has been spent on a team. Oh my God. Yeah. So the perception is there now, and I get you. I get what you're saying, right? I will entertain you for one more, right? Or just don't do social media. Okay. The thing is that even if you could, let's just say for sake of argument, you say, okay, I'm not going to do social media. I'm not going to do Tinder. I'm not going to do Hinge or Bumble or anything like that. A lot of people are abandoning those platforms as it is anyways. And so what are they doing? Well, they're still going to, Instagram is the #1 dating app on planet Earth. Let's just be honest. But even if you could do that, even if you could like separate yourself from social media, and you go, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about chicks with an Instagram. I'm gonna go meet some chicks in the club. I'm gonna go to Zook. I'm gonna go to Hakkasan. I'm gonna go to the library, which is where I'm supposed to. Barnes and Noble. That's where all the hot chicks are, right? I'm gonna go to the coffee shops because that's apparently where you meet quality women, right? So I'm gonna go there and do that. But you know what? All those chicks that are in the coffee shop and all those girls in the fucking library and Bible study or wherever you think you're gonna find good, wholesome girls, you know what? Those girls, they're still on fucking Instagram. Okay, they still have their own accounts, and you know what they're going to do? If you don't have an Instagram, they're going to take a picture of you, and guess what? You're not only dating her, you're dating mom, sisters, all her girlfriends, everybody that follows her on Instagram, all the simps, all her beta orbiters, everybody who's like liking every single fucking picture of her on vacation or whatever. That's who you're dating too. You're dating those guys. You're dating her girlfriends. You're dating her mom. You're dating her stepmom. You're dating her aunt. You're dating her cousins. You're dating whoever. And so even if you could go and say, you know what, I'm done with social media. I'm not going to bother with that kind of, all my dating is all analog. No digital dating for me, right? The other chicks are doing that. And I pointed this out at one point where, like, I think it was Fresh, right? And Fresh said something to the effect, I think he was on there with Destiny, and Destiny asked him, like, what percentage of college girls do you think actually like get flued out to like a yacht party by Drake, or like an NBA player, or some even a B-list rapper to go on a yacht party in Miami, right? Fucking Fresh, 30%. What? What? Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, what? No, it's more like maybe like a fraction of 1%, but that's not the point. and this is what Fresh probably should have said. It doesn't matter what the percentage is. It's how many women, what percentage of women believe they could do that, that it's something that's within the realm of possibility for them. Because what happens is you have all these women that are in the global sexual marketplace. And if in the global sexual marketplace, all of their friends or they don't even have to be friends. They could just be people that they know, quote unquote, online. You know, they're parasocial friends. I love parasocial. Everybody's using that term now. Their parasocial friends are the ones that are going to Biscayne Bay and like doing these yacht parties and you know, shaking their ass on the netting between the pontoons. But it doesn't matter because they see that chick and they go, I'm hotter than that girl. That could be me. I could be there on that netting right there, shaking my ass, right? Twerking in front of whoever. That could be me. That's my level of sexual market value right there, because clearly that chick's not that hot and I'm hotter than her. So I could do this. I just don't know Drake. I don't know whoever the rapper is or the athlete is or whoever it is, right? And if I did, then I would be in and she would be out, right? And what happens is that's the global sexual marketplace, and when women's attitude and their sexual market value is estimated in the global sexual marketplace, then they turn off whenever they do, turn off the phone, turn off whatever, and they're in the local sexual marketplace wherever they happen to be. They still think that their sexual market value is commensurate with their global sexual market value. So that's why I said it doesn't matter what the percentage of girls that are going out to these meeting millionaires in Dubai. It doesn't matter what the percentages of girls who find Pretty Woman, right? They find their Richard Gere and they're just basically the hooker with the heart of gold. It doesn't matter what this star-crossed lovers, this fantasy romance, novel thing. It Tinder swindler. It doesn't matter that what the percentages of those encounters are. It just matters that instance or that perception of what was going on in the global sexual marketplace affects her in the local sexual marketplace. So if she says, I must be an 8 because I'm hotter than that chick that's on the yacht. She goes back to her dorm at ASU and says, why would I want to get with these broke fucks? I'm worth way more than that because I have the possibility or the potential of meeting this guy who's a multimillionaire in Dubai. I have the possibility of my ship finally coming in and I get an invite from this, I don't know, NBA player and he wants me to come to Miami to be on his boat. Right? That's the point, is the perception. And that's my very long-winded way of saying it's all about the imagery, because that is what influences women's, like people say, oh, women have these overblown egos today, but because they think like it convinces a 6 that she's an 8. That's how that happens. It's that global sexual marketplace that convinces her that she's an 8. She comes back to the local sexual marketplace and she goes to some, I don't know, party in Scottsdale, right? And realizes that, or has this attitude anyways, that she's an 8, right? And maybe that's not really relatable in the real world, but the perception that was created for her by the global sexual marketplace is now transferred into the local sexual marketplace. And so she doesn't want to have anything to do with guys that she doesn't think are worthy of her anymore. So when I'm talking, when we hear these people, I got a video for you here with Scott Galloway. When you hear these people talking about, oh, what's the problem with the dating market today? It's the perception. It's not the actuality. It's the perception that women have a higher sexual market value than they actually do. And so therefore, that's what their standards are based on. My standards are based on the fact that there's an outside chance that Drake might call me and ask me to come out to Miami and go hang out on his boat. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but that doesn't matter when you're 23 years old and you're at the peak of your game. You're in your prime. So are you going to, you want to know why like young women tend to gravitate towards older guys? And I don't mean like 50s and 60s. I mean like maybe in their 30s, maybe mid 30s, something like that. It's because they see that guy as having more of the things or more of the qualities that guy that she saw online has. He has the means to maybe not take me to Biscayne Bay on a yacht party, but he has the ability to allow me to live a lifestyle that I think I'm worth because my perception of myself has now been altered by what I see online. So it's a global sexual marketplace versus the local sexual marketplace. So I thought I'd just throw that out there a little bit, because that's kind of like a precursor to a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about. Because what happens is when that woman comes out of that and she comes back to the local sexual marketplace and her ego and her sexual market value is established by the global sexual marketplace, then what do guys do to modify their game, to modify their approach, to get with the chick who is, you know, functionally a 6, but thinks she's an 8? Are they still, like, most guys don't even think about that anymore. They're just still trying to figure their dicks out, right? But really what they're saying, how are you going to modify your game? Most guys are completely unprepared for shit like that. They don't know. That's why you get, I mean, I can't even believe today I'm still even having this conversation when I'm talking about male feminists, when I'm talking about guys who want to identify with the feminine. And that's really what Justin Baldoni's game has always been, to the point where he is like world famous for this shit. He's the most famous, as far as I know, the most famous male feminist on planet Earth right now. Certainly at this stage he is. But I can remember when I wrote the first book, hell, even back in the mid 2000s, I wrote, what was it? Oh, it was like I wouldn't say a debate thread, but it was a thread on So Suave where we were talking about identity. And we're talking about like men's identity and how men will fluidly alter their identity to be more accommodating for women. And that really goes all the way back to, you know, kind of like the post-sexual revolution, late 60s, early 70s attitudes on gender. Because what you want to know where all this shit came from, when we talk about like, oh, men need to get in touch with their emotions. Men need to be more vulnerable. Men need to cry a little bit. Like the dumb kid that was on that one clip who was crying and everything. Why did he do that? Why did he think that was going to be endearing? Because even in the 21st century, even in it probably was in 2024. In 2024, this guy is still convinced that if he shows a little emotion, if he's vulnerable, if he cries a little bit, oh, my brother, they're crocodile tears. Quite honestly, I thought it was bullshit. But the guy thought it would be a good idea because it would be more endearing to women who say, I want a guy who's vulnerable. Vulnerability is strength. That's straight out of fucking Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan. Straight out of militant feminism. They were trying, because you know why? Because they wanted to turn masculinity into something that could be subdued. And that's how you do that. It's called transvaluation. Strength is weakness. Weakness is strength. That's transvaluation. I forget the guy. I don't think that's Nietzsche. I forget who coined the phrase transvaluation. But anyways, it's just basically, you know, up is down and down is up. And if we can find some way to convince guys that what they're doing is actually the opposite of what they're doing, then they become more manageable. They become subduable. They become manipulable. So what do we say? Well, we still believe, I mean, certainly in the 70s we did. I think this is complete horseshit in the 21st century. But back at that time, the belief was this, is that human beings are blank slates. We both have some anima and animus, right? You want to know why I don't ride with fucking Carl Jung? Carl Jung is because of this stupid idea that you have this masculine side and you have this feminine side, and the most perfected human being, looking at destiny, the most perfected human being is the guy who just has just about the same levels of masculine energy and feminine energy. Feel like Nice Pool. All right. That's something Nice Pool would say. Come on, it is. But the idea, like, I remember, like, I forget who he's talking to, but it might have been Chris Williamson. Like, Destiny was saying, well, you know, the perfect guy, the perfect dude would be a guy who just maybe like 5% more masculine energy than feminine energy. And I'm like, no, that guy is androgynous. That's what that guy is. He's a thing. And but that's why I completely reject this stupid idea about like masculine energy and feminine energy, because everything, your gender identity or gender in general flows downstream from fucking biology. So if we look at evolutionary biology, if we look at the 4 laws of genetic behaviorism, if we look, ever since we were able to plot the human genome, all that stuff, sprinkle it up and throw it away. The answer to the solution, the answer, the whatever you want to call it, to the debate for nature versus nurture was answered right around the mid 2000s with the 4 laws of behavioral genetics. And you know what? As we move further into the 21st century, you're going to find out that all this imaginary bullshit that is basically a religion, this religion of psychology, you're going to see all these sacred cows just fall out like dominoes, just fall one by one by one. And we need to cut out the bullshit about this fucking blank slate bullshit. We need to cut out this feminine energy and masculine energy. But it was very effective at crowd control. It was very effective at managing men at that time because men wanted to buy into whatever women were selling at that time. And it seemed like a great mating strategy to identify with the feminine. Oh, it's all right. I'm sensitive. I'm a good listener. You know, all the shit that you will hear on like Man Enough, anything that comes out of Justin Baldoni's mouth, out of Nice Pool's mouth, is pretty much 70s era feminism for men. It's like, oh, you need to be an ally. You're not a man, you're an ally. You don't have a penis, you're an ally. There's no masculine qualities to you whatsoever. You want to know why you'll see these stories about like, if men eat red meat, they're more likely to become conservative. If men go to the gym, they're more likely to have misogynist attitude or develop misogynist attitudes. No, they're more likely to develop more muscle and increase their testosterone, which, by the way, is the biological solution to all this bullshit gender study crap. So when we're talking about the separation or the polarity that's continuing to sort of like divide like men and women ideologically. I just saw this. I have it. Where did I put it? I have I have it actually up here. Here, look at this. Look. Here. Where'd it go? Okay, I got it. There you go. Women are more woke than men. Imagine that. Gee, sounds like something Rollo's been talking about for a long time. This is in Finland, okay? Now, remember that when we're looking at a lot of these studies, they're going to be in Norway and Finland and mostly Scandinavian countries because, and the reason why they gravitate towards those is those are supposed to be the most gender neutral countries on planet Earth, right? They're supposed to be the countries that have balanced the gender equation to as best as it possibly could be, right? And yet we still find that men gravitate towards more masculine characteristics and women gravitate towards, when they have complete freedom to do whatever they want to. Funny enough, they tend to like gravitate towards the things that we would say are stereotypically, of the gender that they happen to be, of the sex that they happen to be, right? Okay, so if white people have an average of a higher income than blacks, it's because of oppression. Now you can look and see the male and a female. Police are a racist institution, male and female. You should not say things that might offend an oppressed person, male and female. You can see that. Now all of these, we can run down this. Limiting the rights of speech. This is the one I want. Limiting speech rights of privileged speakers is justified. People should display pronouns. I'm glad that's really low. Actually, for both sexes, it's kind of low. Trans women are women. More females are going to, oh my gosh, almost like pushing like 60, 55, 60% on that one. If a white person doesn't admit that they are racist, they are still probably racist. A member of a privileged group should not adopt cultural elements of a lesser privileged group, basically cultural appropriation. White person cannot understand how black person feels, blah, blah, blah. All the microaggressions, university reading list should include fewer white authors, yada, yada. So these are like, and remember, these are more like racial and social issues here. But when people have asked me, well, Rollo, do you think like women are responsible for the woke movement? Yes, I do. Because who does it benefit the most, right? It's if egalitarianism is ostensibly the foundation of wokesy leftist progressivism, then yeah, that's what women do. As I've said before, women tend to gravitate. The women's psyches are evolved for communitarianism. That's why egalitarianism seems like a good idea. When women organize societies, they do it in the round. They opt more for redistributing resources, whether that's money or just resources in general. If you look at one of the reasons why, this is my I'm spitballing here. This is one of my theories. I'm not saying that I don't have any numbers to back this up at this point, but hear me out. One of the reasons why I think that we have had a discussion about socialism in like democratic socialists. By the way, there's a party called the Democratic Socialists, and they essentially control. Well, I don't know if they do now, but for the last 4 years in Nevada, the state legislature has been controlled by the Democratic Socialists to the point where they pushed out all the quote unquote Democrats in favor of Democratic Socialists, who all happen to be female. So when I talk about how like when we evolved as like hunter gatherers, like women were the berry pickers, they were the gatherers, men were the hunters. Men organized society in hierarchies, women organized societies in the round, in idealized egalitarianism or communitarian. It takes a village to raise a child, right? And if you look at the sort of the evolution of womankind and the evolution of mankind, you could see why that seems like a good idea. Democratic socialism seems like a good idea to the female psyche because it's based on communitarianism. It's based on egalitarianism. When we have sort of transferred or sort of changed our opinion and our definition of what marriage ought to look like, you got to remember that a 50-50 relationship is a very recent invention. When did it start? Right after the sexual revolution, right around the late 60s, early 70s. And everybody wants to work equal partners to the point where homosexuals were pissed off at cisgendered heterosexuals for appropriating the word partner. Because women and wokesies decided that was a more gender neutral reference than husband and wife. In fact, I remember when I called out Jedediah Bila on that. It was July of 2022, and she was referring to her husband's name is Jeremy. She's referring to Jeremy as like her partner. I'm like, I stopped her right there. I said, "Did you hear what you just said?" It's like, "What?" I said, "You called Jeremy her husband. You called Jeremy your partner." I said, "Is he not your husband?" "Well, yeah, but he's, we're co-equal partners, right?" "No, he's your fucking husband. There's a definite definition distinction between husband and wife." And she still is today. She actually thanked me for this later on. If you're going to she's very much a dyed in the wool, Reagan era conservative. Right? I'm like, and you're calling your husband your partner? I don't even identify as like a conservative. I call my wife my fucking wife. That's all I'm ever going to call her, and she's cool with that. Like, we are not partners. I am her husband. There's a big difference. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Alpha Project. By the way, feel free to throw some super chats in anytime you want to today. This show is fueled by your super chats. I've looked up the threat on your post. Okay, but where did you know how to write it? It's nowhere in the pickup terminology or online. That's because there was no pickup terminology when I wrote the threat. The thread is actually a chapter from my book, and the thread is based on one quote, and that quote is that there's nothing that is more simultaneously threatening yet also arousing for a woman than a man who understands his value to women and acts upon it. That was a quote. That's the starting. I hope I'm not paraphrasing myself too much there. But that was the starting quote for the threat. Now, the reason why I put that on there is because the impact of using the word threat was nowadays it's like, who cares, right? But back then, like if I said I'm a sexual threat, people go, "Oh my gosh, you're a threat." Like, no, I meant that in the terms of like a sexual being versus a non-sexualized being, right? Someone who is invisible, functionally invisible to a woman. Like when Mike Sartain's brought his example is like he would be talking to some of these girls and like he would point to some chick who is, or some guy, and they'd be in CVS or they'd be somewhere, like they point to a guy in the CVS and it's like this little Filipino guy and he's like stacking the shelves. And she says, "Do you see that guy right there?" And she looks past the guy towards like, I don't know, the back. "Oh, you mean the guy that's like pulling, a bottle of vodka out of the cooler right there?" No. The guy that's right there in front of you. The guy stocking the shelves. And it was an experiment to show that the guy that she looked past is functionally invisible to her. The only his another illustration was like the women will not remember the face or any features or any like details about the guy that gave her coffee, unless he's like really good looking, right? Or the employee who rang her up at Starbucks, or the who gave her the Taco Bell Grande at, you know, through the drive-thru, right? But if a guy rolls up in a Lamborghini and he's wearing an Armani suit, she's going to remember his hair color, how tall he was, how broad his chest was, his eye color, everything else. So that's kind of like the distinction for the threat, which is being visible, and then taking that to the next degree, which is like in that chapter, is a guy who understands that he is attractive to women and that he understands his value to women, and he leverages that and uses that. And usually we call that person a player, right? So if you got somebody like Justin Waller, and then you have Lila Rose on whatever podcast trying to grill him and like sort of rope him into her frame, and he's not going to be roped in her frame at all, because he's so high value that his reality is going to be completely different than her reality. And she wants to say that her reality is the definitive one. This is the way God wants it. This is how everybody should live, because I'm living my best life and I'm living this, you know, holy puritanical, you know, with her rosary beads, whatever. Like that's her reality. That's what she thinks guys ought to conform to. Like the guy who said you got to give up everything. Like that's the expectation. Give up everything. Give up everything for her, because her experience, the female experience, is the correct experience. And Justin Waller's like, no, it's not. Wealth enforces will, and especially his wealth, and especially his good looks, and especially his lifestyle. He can afford and he can pull off having a main, having a woman who has two of his kids, who is effectively his wife, and who is okay with him having side pieces. That's his reality. That's correct. In Justin world, that's the correct way to live. In Lila Rose's world, where she basically embezzles all of the money she gets for her abortion, charity, whatever. In her world, that's okay, I guess. You know, the female experience is the correct experience. In a gynocentric social order, the female experience is always the correct experience. And so that's why I always point this out, is that's why when a guy is in that gynocentric social order and he realizes, I'm the shit. I've got money. I've got a certain level of fame. I have status. I have prestige. I'm good looking. I'm 6 feet tall. I have a six-pack abs. I drive very expensive cars. I'm an intelligent, funny, total package. Why am I going to try to gaslight myself into thinking that I am this woman's equal? Like we talked about, like Myron Gaines brings this all the time, right? You want a woman who's tall. You want a guy who's taller than you, richer than you, has six-pack abs, is 6'6", six-pack abs, 6 feet tall, at least 6-inch cock. I think that's it. Six-figure income, whatever it is. All these, attributes and these very specific, even Alex talking to Neftali, and there's like, I want him to be on Fortune 500 company. He's got to make 6 figures. Women marry a lifestyle. They don't marry a guy, right? But that guy is increasingly more rare and can now decide, and he becomes a threat because he doesn't have to fall. He doesn't have to live in Lila Rose world. He can live in Justin Waller world right now. And you want to know where the conflict is between men and women right now? That's the main conflict. It's when worlds collide. What's more attractive, a woman with 50-50 male-female energy, or one with 100% female energy? 100% female energy. I will take it every single time. You know why? Because when you take me with 100% masculine energy and you put my wife with 100% female energy, we tend to do pretty good as a fucking couple. Imagine that. I know that's hard to wrap our heads around, and I'm not coming down on you, Mark, but like, I love it when people are like you've got the point I was making with the whole female male energy balance there is, if in a perfect world, in an ideal state, at least according to these idiots, is that the perfect individual is androgynous. The perfect amount of tits and dick, right? The perfect amount of male and female energy. And if that's the case, why do you need anybody else? If you're male, you're anima and you're animus, thanks Carl Jung. And I know I'm using that wrong. I'm bastardizing it because you guys did it first. But the balance between a male energy and female energy, and if you think that the ideal state is to be as close to parity as possible, you're a thing. You're androgynous. As above, so below. You're androgynous. Got a tit here and you got a dick here. Yeah, okay, you know what I'm saying. Slanesh is pleased. I need a different voice for Slanesh. We already have Korn, Kyle. We got to find a Slaneshi voice at some. Why does the devil always sound like Korn? It doesn't sound like a 10-year-old girl. It's the devil. He can sound like however he wants to. But no, he sounds like this.
Go for it.
He sounds like this from a pit of hell instead of a little 10-year-old girl.
That's the Lord Korn. That's Blood for the Blood God voice. Yes, we do 40K here at The Rational. Oh, you know what? What time is it? Okay, we're an hour in. I guess I can make this announcement. If you are planning to go to the Las Vegas Open next week, I'll be there. I actually got is it 3-day? I think it's a 3-day pass. I have a 3-day pass for the Las Vegas Open, which is probably in the United States, I'm pretty sure. Well, other than Adepticon, I think. But I think the LVO is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, gaming conventions for war games, and primarily like Warhammer 40,000. My favorite, Warhammer 30,000, the Horus Heresy. I don't have any. I don't have any event tickets yet. I might play in the friendly games for Warhammer Horus Heresy because that's my groove right now. I guess I could play some other ones too, but if I play, I'm gonna be wandering around. It's here at the Rio. It's like right across the street from us. But I'll be going around with the DJI Osmo, and I'll be just doing some like sort of geeky, stupid shit that I might put on Instagram. I don't know that it'll go on this channel, but people have been asking me like, "Hey, Rollo, why don't you talk about guitars and Warhammer sometimes?" Okay. And by the way, if you want you want to see me nerd out, I am also the dungeon master for a game that a Dungeons Classic at AD&D First Edition. Dungeons and Dragons game that I play with the guys from Masculine Geek. Go look them up on. I don't have the address right now. Maybe Sammy can dig that up for me. But I play with Vince and Aaron Clary used to be one of my players for a while there. I'm trying to convince him to come back now that he's in Vegas. But yeah, if you really want to see me like nerd out, I do it once or twice a month. That I've been doing a constant campaign with these guys for a while. I enjoy it. People think I'm a pretty good storyteller. But I do that on Wednesdays, usually like every other Wednesday or one Wednesday a month. I'll do that. But I will be at the LVO. So if you see me walking around LVO, come say hi. I'll be there. Las Vegas Open. And then they also have, what else they got? Oh, they got Age of Sigmar. They have all their board game stuff there. There's some other games too that I wasn't familiar with. Frontline Gaming is there. Frontline Gaming is this gaming company that's here in Las Vegas who I really like their stuff. And they also do like Games Workshop. It's an official Games Workshop event. So they do reveals there. Like, so the upcoming stuff that's coming, they'll do reveals at the thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I really like to look at the painting contests. I haven't participated in a model painting contest in a long time. And I might try it next year, but I kind of want to just go dip my feet back in. So if you see me walking around, I'll be at the LVO. And that is I believe it's the 16th through the 19th of January. So it'll be this upcoming week. So it'll be Thursday. I think it's Thursday through Sunday. So there you go. What is this? Get Owen Cook on. You both can riff forever. No, Owen Cook can riff forever. I have to I require oxygen. I need to like take a breath now and then. Owen Cook never has to take a breath. I don't know. He's got like gills or something like that. I don't know. As I said before, what I said before, I said, if we're talking about who can talk the most, I'm right here. and Mike's right here, and Owen Cook is here, and he's out of the shot. Like he is that much of a talker, and a very good storyteller too, by the way. God forbid he played D&D. But he can definitely talk. And I would Owen would come on my show if I asked him to. Probably if he was he lives in LA, but I get the feeling he might be leaning towards Vegas, especially after all the fires that are going on in Los Angeles right now. And God, I don't know where are you from originally?
Monterey.
Monterey. Okay, so Northern California. I'm originally born and raised in Pasadena, California, and since we're at the top of the hour, I feel like I can talk about this for a second. So I was born and raised in Pasadena, and in particular, from the time I was born until the time I was 14 years old, I lived on a street called Valencia. Valencia is the two cross streets are Washington Boulevard and Altadena Boulevard. And if you go just a little bit north on Altadena Boulevard, you get to a place called Eaton Canyon, and that's where the Eaton Fire is. And I used to spend my summers, because my dad I was raised by a single father, and my brother and I would go in and get in the worst trouble in Eaton Canyon when we were 10 years old, 12 years old, right? And that's where we would go. We would go hiking a lot up in there. And there was, if you go all the way to the back of Eaton Canyon, there's a nature center there too, which is probably burned to the ground right now. But it's a box canyon, and you go all the way to the back. That's where the falls are, and you can go swimming back there. Right? There's a deep, well, it used to be anyways, a deep pool that you could actually go take a swim in. It was cool and it was fun to do. It's kind of fun to be a kid then, right? But it's a box canyon. And if that place caught on fire, there is no way you cannot put a fire team in there. You will not put it out. You will not be throwing dirt on it. You will not be, unless you have a tanker coming in and spreading fire retardant on it, forget it. And there are some very expensive houses in there. And then, so that's my first story. That's where my childhood home was, right by Eaton Canyon. And then when I was 14 until I was about my very early 20s, like 21, before I moved to North Hollywood, I lived in a place called Hastings Ranch. And Hastings Ranch has been burned to the foundations. People were talking about, Hastings Ranch is on fire. I started looking at some of these stuff. So I looked it up on Twitter. I looked it up on some other news sites. And I used to live on the street called Rexford. And Rexford is no longer there. Poof. And I'll tell you, it is tough to see, like my childhood home, I think is still okay, but the place I lived at on 1310 Rexford, gone, completely burned to the foundations. And I'm just like my entire my high school years just went by. I went to Pasadena High School. Yeah. Sierra Madre area, which is right next door to Hastings Ranch. God bless you, man. I hope you guys are okay, but man, fucking A. Can't even believe it. And then, by the way, I have lots of friends in Los Angeles still to this day, and not only just through Babes in Toyland, but from old school friends and stuff too. So definitely praying, hearts and minds, everything, man. Who is your favorite chaos god? Put me on.
Go for it.
There's only one God, and his name is Lord Core, Lord of the Pit, God of blood and skulls. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
There you go. That Lord Corn. Corn is the war god. Slanesh is a pretty close second. Just because I like to mess with people. They're two diametrically opposed gods too. Hey, there we go. Now we're talking. Yeah. Hey, Rollo, I've been following your advice for 6 years. Advice? I'm in shape. I make six figures and have dating experience at 27, but dating feels repulsive due to women's demands and behavior. I want to sell everything I built to live simply and enjoy my youth. Is this unwise? Yes. How old are you? 27? Okay. I'm going to quote you one of the 48 laws of power, and I think it's number 20, 21, but never isolate, never self-isolate, right? You think that isolating yourself in a castle is the way to go. but you cut yourself off from information. You cut yourself off from growing. You cut yourself off. And I understand, like, hey, I don't want to have to deal with it. Don't build fortresses around yourself. You have to be out and doing things. Otherwise, your social skills begin to be atrophy. Let's just say. So making your, I mean, it's good to be very good to be selective. It's very good to. Here's the thing. If something encourages you, hopefully this is it. It's good that you have accurate information. It's good that you are sensitive enough to say, I want this for myself. I don't want this for myself. I think a lot of guys get into your situation and they're like, hey man, I did all this work on myself. I did all this shit. I've got a job. So what do you say? I'm in shape. Hold on, let me look at this. Here it is. I'm in shape, 6 figures, have dating experience at 27. Okay. So if you're in shape, you make $6, you make $100,000. I'm just going to base it on that, right? To get to that point, I mean, what's the percentage? I think you're in like the top 5%, right, of earners. If
5% for earners,
top 5% of earners at 27, bravo.
Ooh,
well done,
yeah.
Well done. And, but you're not the first. He's not the first 27-year-old I know like that. I know Justin Waller's PA Tom is very. He's if he's not a millionaire, he's got to be a millionaire pretty soon. Has his shit together and gives me hope for Generation Z. But so they're not all losers, Aaron Clary. Some of them are, but yeah, just understand you're in a very good position, and you're 27 years old. Don't give up now, man. If you're making 6 figures at 27 years old, as I've said before, if you have seen this, we're looking at your peak years. You're not even 10, maybe you're a little under 10 years from hitting your peak. You're not even in your stride yet, man. Don't give up now. Like, just enjoy yourself. Try not to take it so seriously. One of the great things, as I said before, at least you're red pill aware. You understand your own value. If you're a threat, right? Remember, that's what I was saying before. You understand your own value. You understand your value to women. And what happens, you want to know why women feel threatened by that, is because the odds are that they won't be selected. There's only so many guys like you. Hell, would you like to do the delusion calculator right now? I could find out how rare an animal you are. I'm just going to spitball it and say you're probably within at your age, actually probably 1% of the population of the United States. So that's I don't want you to sell yourself short. That's the whole thing. And don't build fortresses around yourself. Don't sell yourself short. And then remember, you're in a very advantageous position. So like I said, the reason why it's a threat is because it puts the advantage of sexual selectivity in the hands of men. Whereas women, remember, women's sexual agency is a decaying asset, right? It's perishable. So as women age, they lose market value in the sexual market. Okay. I'm not talking about personal worth, ladies, just back the fuck up. But in terms of the sexual marketplace, women's value decays with age. Men's it will eventually decay with age, but it has a longer half-life. Let's just say it takes longer to get to men's peak years, and it takes longer to sort of decay. And so in the long term, men have a much more advantageous position when it comes to sexual selectivity. The problem is that sexual selectivity, maybe not in your case, maybe you're a little bit ahead of the curve, but for most guys, it doesn't even start until they're like their mid-30s, because then they've made partner in the law firm. Then they become a surgeon. They finish their internships or their residency, whatever. They built a business. If they're entrepreneurs, if you could still stay in shape and you're still looking really good. Yeah, in fact, I would say if you understand diet and nutrition and working out and everything, you're probably in a better position to like maximize that in your 30s than you were in your 20s, because you didn't really understand it as well, right? You could still be in really good shape. You could still, you're probably a better judge of character. You probably have better social skills. There's so many advantages. That's the thing I really want to stress I'm trying to do this in Reignite. I'm sorry if I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but in Reignite, I kept telling these guys, you guys are in much better position than you think you are. Do you have work to do? Yes, of course you do. I still have work to do. As soon as you can, I don't believe in contentment, right? Like discontent is what was really the operative state of human beings, right? The moment you could look in the mirror and be happy with what you see, you're fucking sunk. You're like, you go, I do that all the time, man. I'm like, if I ever, and I don't do this often, but if I ever like kind of assess where I'm, sometimes I do, but where I assess where I'm at in life, I have to be careful of that because I don't want to go, I can cruise. No, I don't, Rollo Tomasi doesn't cruise. All right. There's always another book to write. There's always another project to do. There's always more irons in the fire. There's always another podcast. There's always more people to meet. There's always another event. There's always other stuff to do. So don't cut yourself off of that and don't sell yourself short, especially at your age. 27. God, I give my left testicle to be 27 again, man. Fuck. You fucking kids. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm going to go full Aaron Clary on you now. Who is your favorite demon prince? You mean Primarch? Because prince is kind of a general term. I'm going to presume you mean demon Primarch. Demon Primarch or regular Primarch, like loyalist Primarch. Okay, so let's see. Shall I really nerd out with you?
Can we nerd out? Let me tell you who my favorite are.
Where are the Cheetos? Well, my favorite loyalist is Sanguinius because I play Blood Angels. I want to say Angron, but it's not Angron. Angron's like, he's too much of a like one-dimensional character. But he has some pretty good monologues, I will say, and especially in I think it's in Betrayer or Butcher's Nails. Well, in Butcher's Nails, he has some pretty good monologues. But I think my favorite traitor Primarch has got to be Magnus. Magnus the Red. Magnus is a tragic character. That's why he tried to do the right thing. He got fucked for it. Magnus did nothing wrong. Nothing at all. Yeah. Perturabo is cool, but Perturabo is the yang to Rogel Dorn's yin, I think. I think they put them in there because they're both like siege experts. That was the whole thing. And yes, I have read every single Horus Heresy book in existence. I do like Fulgrim. Fulgrim's pretty good too, because I also my traitor forces in Horus Heresy is Emperor's Children, because they're fabulous. Purple and gold, I'm in. Rogaldorn's cool though. Yagatai Khan is pretty good. The White Scars are kind of interesting too, but the Blood Angels have always been my favorite. For loyalists anyways. And then Magnus is just too interesting and too great a character, and only by margin of above Fulgrim. Once Fulgrim became a demon, he kind of became boring, but when he was like still sort of a regular, loyalist, he was interesting. Anyways, I digress. Alfarius is everybody. That's you can't nail down Alfarius at all. We should probably, I want to put that video up of the orcs.
Oh yeah, I'll see if I can download.
See if you can find that. That was funny as hell. Maybe we'll put that in last. Yeah, I launch a wag. What's a wag? Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna play this one video here real quick because this sort of like sums up a few things I've been talking about recently. Where'd it go? This is not it. Her. It's in the intros. That's why. All right, this is Scott Galloway here. I know I use him quite often.
If you are a woman who is capable and competent and can do all those things on your own, they don't want a man, because the men out there there's very few, and the few that there are going to be wanted by every single girl. So then they're going to go right. So it's like, what do you do in that?
She didn't want to say losers. Seriously, they're not men. No, you meant to say losers. That's okay.
That's basically what's happening. I know more single great girls than I've ever had in my life, and very few eligible great guys. Very few. And the guys I know who I'm friends with, they have the pick of the litter. They can go out with girls who are like literally more than half their age, and those girls are like vying for them and dying to go out with them.
Yeah. Yes, they are, because they're men who understand their value to women and are willing to leverage it and live in their world and not in girl world.
So
we have, but both parties are to blame. Okay.
Of
Men.
course.
Yeah.
You catch that? Both parties are to blame. That's how, whenever somebody tries to play the balancer, well, women are like that, yeah, but men are like that too, or men are like this, but there's always has to be a yin to the yang, right? There always, and this is why one of the, when people ask me like, Rollo, what, explain to me mental point of origin. That's it. Whenever some guy, if you hear a guy say happy wife, happy life, his mental point of origin is women. Whenever you hear Scott Galloway say, yeah, but it's both parties, both men and women. Like whenever anything sounds unflattering to the feminine and somebody steps in, some guys, and it's almost always a guy, but it can be women too, but it's mostly guys because guys want to step in and be the white knight, right? They want to what? Identify with the feminine. Why? Because their mental point of origin is femininity. I've come to Milady's defense. It's the women are wonderful effect, which, by the way, is a psychological, sociological, well-researched effect. Okay. As I was saying before, I think I mentioned this when I was doing the show on the evolved, innate male protector dynamic, right? If your mental point of origin is women, that's when you get this knee-jerk response. That's when the automatic reflexive response is, yeah, but women X. That's what it comes down to. So if you're ever wondering whether that person's mental, like, I wonder what his mental point of origin is. If you listen to the guy talk long enough, or the woman too, but listen to the guy talk long enough, he'll say, you can't keep the secret. You can't keep it secret. So his default position will be in some way to sort of balance the equation of men and women. Unless whenever a guy says something about men, and this is how male nature works, they will never try to say, yeah, but women do it too. That never comes up. But if it's something that sounds like a female nature that might be unflattering to a woman, to womankind, that's when they'll try to square the circle.
Men, for a variety of reasons, some societal, some is on them, are economically and emotionally unviable. They're less mature. They literally mature. Their prefrontal cortex matures at a slower rate. They're not going to college. They've been told by the wealthiest, deepest pocketed companies in the world they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online with an algorithm. Why go out and make the effort to get friends when you can go on Discord or Reddit? Why get a job when you can make money trading crypto on Coinbase or stocks on Robinhood? Why go?
Does anybody trade on Coinbase?
I don't know why you would trade on Coinbase. But...
Dude, I left Coinbase like back at, when Coinbase locked my account, I had to get your brother to help me get it back and everything.
Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto.
Yeah. And almost like as soon as that happened and I had to get it back, I completely dumped everything out of Coinbase. I don't know anyone. And if you do, get out of Coinbase. The only time I use Coinbase is if I want to cash out. If I want to have money put into my bank account, I'll say only time I use Coinbase. Nobody's using Coinbase. God damn. This dude needs cultivate crypto. This dude needs a crypto mindset. That's what he needs.
To the effort and the rejection and the humiliation and establishing the skills and getting your mom or your gay friend to dress you, working out, taking the risk, going to.
I don't know about you, but I would not have my mom or my gay friends actually pick my clothes. Nor will I allow my wife to pick my clothes. Just
to a place, putting up with the bullshit and the rejection of finding a romantic or a sexual partner when you just have you porn. And so you have an entire cohort of men who have sequestered from society. They don't get those skills. They go down a rabbit hole and they become almost sort of just non-viable mates.
Mm-hmm. They're not threats. They're not threats. They're what Homath would say are not people. They're not people. So when I'm listening to Scott Galloway, first of all, he's most definitely his mental point of origin is women. That's pretty easy to figure out, especially a guy like that. And very liberal, very let's say left leaning, which of course is indicative of a female mindset. As we said, most wokesies are women. Okay? But what's the operative in this? Okay, it's one thing to have a mental point of origin, and women are a mental point of origin. The operative state, though, is he's trying to identify with the feminine. Now, is he as egregious as Justin Baldoni. No. God, thank God, right? And he could never pull it off. But he still, his sexual strategy, his mating strategy, his appeal to women is to become more like women by tearing down men, by finding ways to sort of say, well, you know, men ain't shit. And shit, actually, he might as well have like finished this chick's sentences for her, right? Yeah, but men ain't shit. And so she's like trying to be diplomatic about it. She's like, well, you know, she didn't want to say losers. She just said, you know, men in general. And what they're doing is they're just like defining and illustrating and outlining this difference between men and women right now. And I would also take to task that are also plenty of guys that probably, if they would just, you know, put their mind to it, go out and make an effort, they probably do better than they think they would. But again, he's right. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Why would they? Now, I'm not endorsing black pill. I'm not endorsing MGTOW. I'm not endorsing whatever it is, whatever new bullshit you guys whatever new pill you come up with. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that's the MGTOW is the way to go or black pill is the way to go. But I will say this: I understand. I understand the impetus. I understand the motivation behind it. I understand all of that. Okay, but you know, it's not worth it. Like what what's his name? William was saying before. It's like dating feels repulsive. This remember, this is fucking fantastic, right? I'm sorry, I can't superimpose it real quick, but no, William was saying, I'm in shape, I make six figures, I have dating experience at 27, but dating feels repulsive due to women's demands and behavior. Is he an incel? I don't think so.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, put it up there real quick. Thank you. Yeah, is he an incel? I want to sell everything I built and simply live in a. So essentially, what you're saying is, so if everything simplifies for you, does that mean you're going to play video games, jerk off to porn, have Grubhub bring you food, and smoke a lot of weed because it's legal, right? I mean, because essentially you're the cohort that Scott Galloway is worried about, William. So it can't just be this generation of losers. There has to be some reason behind it. And I kept saying, like, I wrote this, I really need to revive this essay, but I wrote this essay a while back and it's called The Something Else. And it actually developed from this conversation I had with Ryan Stone. And we're talking about online pornography and how guys really sort of check out of society. And we got into the idea of escapism. And if you've read, and here's my shameless plug, please go read my Substack, my most recent one. I published it like 2 days ago. And it delves into a lot of the reasons why guys get sort of locked in or quote unquote addicted to online pornography or their sedations. And sedation is featuring like certainly in the first part, like with the first like quarter of my new book, my Reignite book, sedation. You have to get over that sedation. You have to be able to sort of like give up a lot of the stuff that like is sort of this comforting escapism. And that's why I also, by the way, I brought up that one video clip of that guy saying, women want you to give up everything. I'll come back and revisit that in a second here because I think it's relevant. But the idea of pornography is an escape. I can't get laid. I don't want to have to go through all this rigmarole. I don't want to have, like women have, like he was just saying, William was saying, they have such high fucking standards and impossible standards. And for what? They're not even worth those standards. Why? Because those standards were created in a global sexual marketplace that are being taken to the local sexual marketplace where William is. And they're like, fuck this. I'm not going to bother with this. Oh, did you get it? Oh, did we get another one here? Oh, no. Okay. Sorry. Sam just doubled it up. So you confused me, Sam. I thought there was two. So what is the juice worth the squeeze? Even if the guy got what he wanted, even if he could say, hey, I finally found a really, she's low body count, whatever your standards happen to be, chick who's into me and basically gave up her OnlyFans for me, if you found a ride or die girl, how would you even know you found a ride or die girl these days? Really, honestly, I thought it was interesting. I was listening to which podcast was I listening to? Oh, I know. It's Matt Walsh. Hi, Matt. Matt Walsh was talking about Bonnie Blue recently, and how did you see that video where Bonnie Blue? I said Bonnie Blue. Did I not say that here live on this fucking show? Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips are teammates. They're in the same hustle together. And so Bonnie Blue went to, where the fuck did she go? But she went to a Five Guys burger place. And she tried to proposition the dude who was behind the counter as a black dude and everything. She was saying, where are the Five Guys? I want Five Guys. Is there a back room where I get the five? I'm just looking at the menu. Where are the Five Guys? Are you on the menu? And then, of course, it's so fucking weak. You could tell this is fucking scripted too, by the way. This is exactly what I would expect from her. Exactly what I would expect from Annie Knight, who will probably be the next one they do a video about. Or Lily Phillips. Between those three, they're all on the same team. They're all on the We Fuck a Lot of Guys team. That's what it is. And essentially, she went up to this guy, this black dude that was at Five Guys, and the guy goes, "No, ma'am, I'm saving myself for marriage. I'm a Christian man." Yada yada yada. This is exactly the MO of these chicks. I said this. I've already gone through this once before, Matt. And so he waxes a little philosophical. There's about a 9-minute clip for Matt, which is really short. But I'm going to paraphrase here. Then he starts jumping in on Lily Phillips. She's like, yeah, that one girl who wanted to fuck 100 guys in 24 hours. I'm like, Lily Phillips, the one you did the last week that you did the video about, that Lily Phillips? No, not just some girl. You know the name, Matt, as do a lot of other people. And again, I pointed out that was a grift and a hustle, and this is a grift and a hustle just as well. This is shit like this. Oh, she got owned. She got owned by a good Christian guy behind the Five Guys counter and stuff like that. I would probably guarantee you that guy is probably in some way on the take from this chick, right? And if she's not, she's only why would you publish that? It didn't happen. It didn't happen live. Like, even if it happened organically, why would you publish that on? Why would Bonnie Blue put that out there? Because it would make her look bad. No, it doesn't make her look bad, because either it was a setup or it's something it's an image of herself that she wants you to see. And remember, everything is stage managed, particularly with these women. And so when we're like guys talking about, the quality of women and everything right now, when a woman is making $10 million, it was $10 million. $10 million. And have a documentary done about her. God knows how much money that guy's making, or the rest of this, right? But she made $10 million off of banging 100 dudes in 24 hours. And of course, all the religious people wanted to say, oh, she's having her come to Jesus moment. I hope she finds God, blah, 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 which is exactly what they're hitting. You are their demographic. He was like, oh yeah, these guys, these OnlyFans girls, they don't have pimps, but they are their pimps. I'm like, no, Matt, you're their pimp. Because you keep falling for this bullshit, man. You're not getting paid for it directly, but you're helping her get paid by pointing this shit out. Because people want to say, oh, yes, it's a victory for Christ because he turned this girl down. Yay. Why would she put it out there? Why would she go public with this if it was that embarrassing? Because it's not. It's better for Bonnie Blue? Matt Walsh going on Daily Wire and talking about it. Fuck yeah. You know what probably got more engagement? Matt Walsh talking about it than the actual video itself, because the video doesn't even last 30 seconds, a minute tops. You are the sucker, Matt. You are the sucker, Ben Shapiro. You are the sucker, Michael Knowles. And it's so reliable that they keep doing it over and over, and you keep talking about it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Yeah. They know you'll talk about it. But so he waxes philosophical about this, and this is more to the point. He's talking about these women, that they've decided to become prostitutes, and they're pimping themselves, and they want to, of course, everybody wants to blame it on the guys, and it's not really the guys. This part I do agree with Matt, and I can't even believe he brought it up. But at what point are those women accountable for their actions? At what point, instead of the guys are going to do what guys are going to do. And here you have Bonnie Blue trying to entice this black dude to come and get after it with her, right? And he turns her down and like throws a Bible verse at her, and everybody's happy, right? But Bonnie Blue is making money hand over fist. She's a multi-millionaire. Lily Phillips made $10 million just off of that one video. 10 million. She's a let that sink in. She's a multi-millionaire doing what she does. And so if money is the highest order of life, if money is what defines your status, if money is what, and I'm not just saying like women, I'm saying guys too, right? If money is what makes an entrepreneur respectable, it doesn't matter what he does. It shouldn't matter what he does, because you should if money is the litmus test, if that's the metric by which you're going to say this person is a success or this person is not a success, then what they do to get it shouldn't mean jack shit, right? It does, but again, I digress. But the thing is that you're never going, like Scott Galloway can get indignant as he wants to. It won't make a bit of difference, because you're looking at women who, I'm not saying all women do this, but any woman could do this. Like even there's that one girl who's like the virgin OnlyFans girl. She made $43 million being a virgin. She's not going up to 5 guys. She's not like being silly. Oh, by the way, she said, I recently saw that she was going to put the first time she fucks is going to be on OnlyFans, and it's going to be like pay-per-view, and it's going to be like some special, like it's pay-per-view special for virgin girl, right? That's where we are. So Scott, before you start mouthing off about the situation of guys, men need to do better. There can only do as good as a $10 million payout for a fucking bukkake video, right? They can only do as good as, hell, I don't even know the chick that was with him, but I'm sure she's making a lot more money than most men are right now. And if she's not making it on OnlyFans, she could. Or have you seen the story? I should dig it up. I just gave it to Mike. The story of the WNBA player who quit the WNBA, started OnlyFans, and in the first week of OnlyFans, she made more money off of OnlyFans than she made in her entire WNBA career.
Nope, I have not heard
that. I'm going to dig that up. I know I have that somewhere. Where did it go? Oh, wait, I put it in this one. There it is. I can just put this on the screen. Hang on, this is good. I think that's it. Yes. Okay. So this is the chick right here. That chick is tall. Former WNBA star Liz Cambage has retired and joined OnlyFans and revealed she made more money her first week on OnlyFans than her entire WNBA career and doesn't regret retiring. There you go. There you have it. And look, 8.4 million views. So, Scott, what do you have you're the defender of women everywhere. Your mental point of origin is women. Like, how did these horrible men force her into this? Like, I'll wait. I'll wait for you, Scott. Yes. Yeah. In 1 week. And then you got hell, I mean, we've had God knows how many when don't we have OnlyFans girls on Access Vegas? We've had women on this show who are mothers of 4, and they do OnlyFans with their husbands, and they just fuck their husbands on OnlyFans, and she makes $20 million a year, whatever it is, I don't know. And this chick is probably like in her mid 40s too. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? You're banging your husband. You're not like breaking your wedding vows. You're just doing it on screen. I know. There's another chick who went to 8 years of medical school. I was on Adam Sosnick's show. 8 years of medical school. She was I think a surgical nurse. but like whatever nursing degree you get in 8 years, that's what she had. Like, and was I mean, she's probably pushing 6 figures as a surgical nurse or something. Said, fuck this. I'm going to do OnlyFans and makes millions of dollars having sex with her husband. She has 2 kids and she does not regret it at all. But she went to 8 years of college to get a high paying medical career and simply just abandoned it because OnlyFans pays more. So how do you square that circle, Scott Galloway? How does that work out, Mr. I want to be a chick. I want to be a woman. Where did it go? Okay, this is what I wanted to throw up here and come back to. That was
I want you to drop every bad habit only to leave you once you do it. So why do they want you to drop every bad habit? Because you're a utility to her survival. So it's not that video games and sitting there watching the football game is a turnoff. It's a turnoff because she looks at you as a utility and she goes, you could be spending this time better serving me by figuring out how to make more money.
So there you go. Notice that everything comes back to money. Wealth enforces will. So when people say, oh yeah, we have a 50-50% or 50-50 relationship. No, you don't. Because if that woman is making more, if she's on OnlyFans and you're on Plumber Fans, and all you do is, I'm not taking that. Plumbers actually do a pretty good job. But let's just say you have a low paying job and she's on OnlyFans. You're not getting her out of that high paying gig. As I said before, it's the pretty woman conundrum, right? Like you want to be Richard Gere, but you have to be this rich multi-gajillionaire industrialist. What's an industrialist? To get her out of that high paying gig, to save her from herself. And even then, you won't save her from herself because even if you had more money than she does on OnlyFans, let's say you could make $10 million off of something real easy to do. Lily Phillips can go suck 100 dicks and make $10 million inside of 24 hours. What guy do you know that can do that on average? What guy do you know that in 24 hours can make $10 million? Do we know anyone? Even Justin Waller cannot make, and he makes a good chunk of change, cannot make $10 million in 24 hours. What dude do we know that could make $10 million in 24 hours? Maybe Bill Gates, maybe Elon Musk, maybe guys you wouldn't want to fuck. Jeff Bezos. Maybe he makes $10 million in 24 hours. Maybe. Like, what sports star, what athlete makes $10 million in 24 hours? None. I remember when Colin Kaepernick got his first deal, it was $10 million bucks. Oh, yeah. $10 million for that year, for that one season, and never played. Yeah. What guy do you know that can make $10 million in 24 hours? Probably not many. Let him finish.
They don't want you to have your own pleasure. It's all about them. They only care about themselves. This is their natural survival instinct, is to fully have their own self-preservation and their own survival instincts, because all they care about is not only themselves, but the survival of their future children. She does not give a shit about you. She doesn't want you to have pleasure. She doesn't care if you're happy. When you're sitting there playing video games, she's going, how can I get this man to better serve me? How can I get him to work more and be ambitious so I have a better life? It's all about her. Well, once you show that you're able to be changed, she doubts your value again, because you show that you can be moved off center, and now you've changed for her. You've listened to her words, essentially, and desire drops anyways. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Mm-hmm. All right, why am I throwing this one up here? I got another good one for you. Another reason why you should never be, like, when we talk about vulnerability, when guys like Baldoni talk about vulnerability, like, I think that's a strength. Okay, being vulnerable, let your hair down, be who you are, just be yourself, brah. No, you can't. You have to fight. You have to drive and drive and drive. You have to be, especially when we talk about how wealth enforces will. So if you're with a woman, it doesn't have to be Lily Phillips. Let's just say you're with a woman who's making a good chunk of change off of whatever it is she does. Instagram, FHM model, OnlyFans model, porn, You go, I would never be with a girl like that. Yeah, well, let's just say for sake of argument, your woman makes more money than you. And this is going to be increasingly more likely in the future. So you're with a woman that makes more money than you, is better educated than you, has, I'm a girl with standards, right? If that woman is making more money than you, I should point out that the number one catalyst for divorce, or the precipitator of divorce in the United States, is if a guy loses his job, or a woman makes more money than the husband. Like maybe they could start out at parity, right? If that woman gets a promotion at work, status goes up, the people she is working with, authority, all this other stuff goes up, the prestige goes up, the money goes up. Primarily, the money goes up. That man is no longer the man of the house. That guy, I don't care what your religious book says. I don't care what the Torah or the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita, I don't care what the fuck book you have in your hands. That doesn't mean shit when the numbers in the bank account are more on her side than they are on your side. That's how this works. That's how this works out. Wealth enforces will, and it forces will within marriages, within businesses, within personal arrangements, within everything else. Money talks, bullshit walks. And so what happens is when the woman starts making more money than the guy happens, then she gets up. She's just, you ain't shit. You don't do this. You don't make as much money. Because biologically, evolutionarily speaking, women want men who will take care of them. That's why this guy is right. Because when that guy is sitting there and he's relaxed, he might have had a hard day at work, right? There could be any number of reasons for this guy to want to be playing video games. Of course, you say video games, and then of course, I got to bring up Charlie Kirk and TPUSA, right? You're not allowed to have a video game until she's completely 100% taken care of. Well, that's an ideal situation, Charlie. But statistically speaking, that woman is going to at least make as much, if not more, than the husband does. So you're fucked. So the thing is it's not about your religious text. It's not about your traditional values. It's not about your traditional gender roles. It's about the fucking money. That's what it boils down to, because women in the long term are more concerned with long-term security and the long-term security of their offspring than they are about your dreams or ambitions to be whatever the fuck it is that you want to be. If you don't have the money, you want to know why women go for older guys, and they're looking for guys who are more financially set and everything, because they're not come-ups. They're already proven commodities, or they're not. Like when we talk about like what we were saying, like I think it was the GSS, or it was a family study, IFS. It's IFS or GSS. I can't remember which study it was, but guys 18 to 29, 67% of them identified as single. And for women, it was something like 34 or 36% of them identified as single. So there are more women in that age cohort than men that are paired. So we talked about this on Access Vegas. Mike and I have gotten into this. I don't think this is a surprise or shock to anybody else, but those women between 18 and 29 years old are either fucking the same guy or they're fucking somebody outside of that age cohort, somebody 30 years and older. So anytime somebody says, oh, women aren't really attracted to guys who are older than them, bullshit. I got the stats to prove it right now. The more likely scenario is they're dating outside of that age cohort. So women between 18, I'm not saying 18-year-olds are fucking 30-year-olds. I'm just saying within that age cohort, women are more likely to be with a guy who is older. Why? Because that guy has more of what she needs, which is financial security primarily. And then that comes at a cost of emotional security and other things as well. Okay. So whenever we talk about, oh, love means this and love, like guys, as I keep saying, and by the way, this is in my first book, so don't let anybody tell you that they fucking thought of this, right? Men love idealistically. Women love opportunistically. And I can't express any better illustration than this shit right now. Finances, 6'5", trust fund, blue eyes. Blue eyes. So they hit that chick up later and it says, do you really believe in that? No, I believe in love. Get the fuck out of here. Then but you did the whole fucking like song and everything, right? No, wealth enforces will. If you're not making more money than I'm not saying she has to, be some poor little destitute girl from the, motherland or some shit like that. I'm just saying, like, if you're not making more money than her, she will lose respect for you. Period. End of story. Was it Chris Rock? He says, if you lose your job, the clock is ticking. It's like, oh, don't worry, baby, we're gonna get through this. It'll be all right. He's like, don't believe that. It's like, she might not leave you then, but the clock is ticking. Yes. And that's like I was saying before, no woman wants to get with a guy that other women don't want to get with. Well, who do they not want to get with? Broke motherfuckers. That's who they don't want to get with. Women marry a lifestyle. They do not marry the man. Women fall in, I'm not saying that love doesn't exist. Love absolutely exists, but we get to it from different avenues. Women have a specific set of criteria, prerequisites that a man has to have before she will allow herself to make an emotional connection to that guy. Guys, love just matters for the sake of love. Like that's why why guys fall in love quick, statistically proven. I think I'll dig the study out for this one. Men fall in love faster and say I love you first way more often than women do, because women are still looking for their next best option. You want to know why she still has an OnlyFans and she's been married to you for the last 5 years and she's still got an OnlyFans? Because she's waiting for some motherfucker who's got who's a better ride than you. Even if you're a good ride, you have to be on top of your game. You always have to be that one step ahead. You always have to have that status, that prestige, that money, as I was saying before. The minute you don't, the minute you can look in the mirror and be happy with what you see, you're fucking sunk. Now, why do I say that? I am going to, where did it go? Here we go. I don't know why this struck me, but this has 1.2 million engagement. It has, I'll just put this in a separate window. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'll put this in a separate window so we can look at it individualized. This is from Twitter. This was posted on January 8th, so about 4 days ago. And hold on. There we go. Perfect. All right. I wanted to, you want to know what inspired today's stream? This guy, Pine Baron. And he's got 30,000 followers. He's no lightweight. Where did it go? Okay. So put that there. Share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So this guy, and I thought this was interesting. Now, why am I putting, I was going to say, grow that out all the way here. Okay. I'm still laughing about the meme that women can't stand to see their man asleep in daytime. This is so fucking true, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, have you taken a nap?
Oh, yeah.
Because you have how long have you been with your girlfriend?
For like 5 years.
5 years. Does she get pissed off when you take a nap?
No.
No? Is she cool with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a much different experience than I do, my friend. Okay. They can't stand to see their man sleep in the daytime. It must be some deeply evolutionary thing. You could be a wilderness firefighter who just got off a 21-hour shift. And if you're napping at 2 p.m, your wife will lose her shit. This is true. Okay. And then I love the responses to this one. It's like, she'll wake you up in the most passive aggressive way, fling the bedroom door open, stomp in, start ransacking drawers. Sorry, I just need to dress because I'm taking the kids to the park by myself because I'm alone with the kids and somebody needs to spend time with them. I'm sorry, I'm so busy with the kids. This is my only chance to use my hairdryer. That sounds like a 737 taking off. Oh my God, that's fucking funny. Yeah. Girl I dated in college got mad at me for sleeping during her 1-hour driving shift of a 10-hour road trip. I drove the other 9. Oh, that's pretty fucking funny. Let's see. About the hairdryer, when I was renting a female roommate, for some reason, every fucking morning, she would use her hairdryer for like 4 minutes straight every fucking day at 7:00. Yep. I think there's a kernel of truth to this. I will relate some of my experiences here. A sleeping man ain't hunting. He ain't watching the perimeter. Definitely evolutionary. Unfortunately, she doesn't buy my pitch that tinkering with my gun is provided evolutionary male behavior, so I can hunt and defend the perimeter better. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to point that out because I thought this was interesting because, like, my wife's like that too. Man, if I am in any way taking a nap or whatever, if I'm like, fuck, man, I'm so tired. Like, especially, I thought this was funny because I love you, honey. But like whenever I do Access Vegas, right, I don't get home until midnight, and I might go to bed at 1 a.m, right? Yep. So, but we have to walk the dog. We have to get up with the dogs at 6:30 every morning, right? Because the dogs have to be let out, blah, blah, blah. And then I might go snooze on the couch a little bit. Like if it's Friday morning after a very late Access Vegas show, right? I no longer do that anymore because I agree. This is definitely evolutionary. And I don't think like the guy who was up before is talking about how you have to give up everything. And then once you do give up everything and you do everything that she wants you to do, that's when she loses respect for you. And she doesn't want, that's when she leaves you. Right. It seems like this paradox that you can't get out of, but it has like functional biological evolutionary roots to it. Right. A sleeping man isn't out hunting. A sleeping guy is a liability, especially in the daytime, right? You're only supposed to sleep at these hours, and then of course what happens is they passive aggressively use the hairdryer or make a lot of noise or whatever it is so that you can't sleep, and because you're not allowed to do that, because that's and I think. Okay, this I mean, well, maybe it does have to do some with money, but I think it's more about, again, long-term security. If she gets, I'll tell you what's funny is when my wife is taking a nap at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I try to be quiet. Like, oh, keep the dogs. Shh, keep it down. No, we're not going outside yet. Try to make sure the house is like nice and quiet so she gets a little bit of a nap, right? But like, God forbid I try to do that. fuck that. Unless I'm sick, unless I'm like dying of like the plague or something like that, there's no sleeping during the daytime. But I've learned that now. And that's just something that I kind of like factor in, because that is vulnerability. Vulnerability is people want to say, oh, vulnerability, you got to be vulnerable with your girl, for your wife, or whatever it is. Okay, the thing is like the moment you are is the moment she starts losing respect for you, is the moment she feels insecure, because your vulnerability is a fucking liability to her. Your vulnerability of sleeping in the daytime, taking a nap at 2, that's vulnerability, because you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be out there fucking killing saber-toothed tigers. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be that. You're supposed to be making money. Anything that is not, like, we talk about hobbies once in a while, right? Mm-hmm. And it was on Twitter not too long ago, probably about a month or 2 ago. We're saying, what are the most attractive male hobbies and what are the least attractive male hobbies? Number 3 is collecting small figures, figurines. I guess I'm fucked. I had a caveat to put to that too, but if you notice and I've written about hobbies, like I've written like at least 3 essays about how women view men's hobbies. Like the first one was I had guys who, especially in my gaming communities, like I played war games and stuff, and I've had guys who are like, they follow me as Rollo Tomasi. They know me as Rollo, not as the dork who plays Warhammer, right? And they'll say, Rollo, my wife hates my hobbies. She hates Warhammer. She hates this. She hates that. She wants me to sell all my miniatures. I said, the moment you do that, you're fucked. You know that, right? Because you're trying to identify with her. You're trying to say, yeah, you know what? I should do that because it'll be much more mature for me to give up my love of this hobby that I've loved since I was, 12 years old or whatever. It's time to give it up. I'm trying to put away childish things and everything else. It's like, I will tell you this right now, that this hobby has like saved my life more than once. But unless that hobby, and this is more to this guy's point, unless that hobby has a direct benefit to that woman, those are the hobbies that are going to be an ick, right? If your hobby is playing video games, like women say, well, I kind of like video games, but just not that he's playing it all the time, right? Playing, I forget what they were all ick factor hobbies, right? But you'll notice that all of the ones that are listed that women hate are ones that have no direct benefit, no like even tangential benefit to women. But if your hobby is, I like to play pick up basketball games after work with the guys at the YMCA or some shit like that, then that's okay because you're looking better and you're in shape. Well, my hobby is to go to the gym and lift heavy weights. That's okay. Especially if it's a sport. If it's a sport that's kind of like a prestigious sport, if it's like, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to play it on the professional level, but Maybe golf. Maybe golf isn't something that most women take on. Like, but at least it's something, right? Anything that has a direct or indirect benefit to that woman, that's an approved hobby. If there's no direct link, no indirect link to her benefit, those are nerd hobbies. Those are things you should not be doing. And why? Because because the time that you spend on them have no indirect or direct benefit to her. That's why that guy was saying, she wants you to give up all this stuff. And as soon as you do, then she loses respect for you because you're the kind of guy who would give it up. You have no identity. You're basically pandering to her, and it's contrived. It's not an honest thing. You're just doing that for me. Well, you asked me, right? Yeah. Well, you're fucking insane. Yeah, I know. There's no rationality to it. There's no logic to it. But that's that if you want the real deal, and it comes back down. I started thinking about this after I was reading the gold is in the comments on this, by the way, for Pimer, because people were giving like all of their kind of their situations and everything. It was just so fucking funny. What was it? I'm trying to look at some of these other ones. If I can find some other ones that are in here that are pretty good. Yeah. I think the other thing is like it also this thread, by the way, and like I said before, let me look at the stats on the thread. The thread's at 3,000 people have bookmarked it. It's at 1.2 million views. It's got 24,000 likes. Been retweeted 893 times, and there's 422 comments on it. So obviously, this resonated with some people. I would say it's 1 million views, so it's viral. So something's going on here, and I think from an evolutionary perspective, it's pretty well established. But what's not being talked about in this is the vulnerability factor in this and the female identification factor. So, my question is this: should I just say fuck it and take a nap whenever Rolo wants to take a fucking nap? I can. I retired my wife a long time ago. I make all the money. Wealth enforces will, and this will is I'm going to fucking sleep for those 2 hours. Right? I could pull rank. I could do that. But I mean, I understand why it is kind of jarring to the female psyche that to see their man, especially the guy that they've been married to for 28 years, sleeping. He's sleeping on the job. How much money could he have been making in the last 2 hours that he's been snoring? Right. And I say, I do snore. And so I can sort of see that side of it. I understand why women are like that. But then again, it's like you get down to the entitlement. And then if you're not let's just say for sake of argument, you're not making as much money as she is. And she's by default, economically, she's the authority in the place. Seeing you sleeping it's a threat. It's a existential threat. You become a liability. You're dead weight. She's paying for you to sleep. Get the fuck up, you lazy pig. So when that happens, like I think that doing so is a moment of vulnerability, right? Women want vulnerability, or they say they want vulnerability is strength. Okay, well, my vulnerability is I sleep during the day. Except for that. My vulnerability is like my favorite hobby is playing Warhammer 40,000. That's for nerds. That's my vulnerability. That's my Achilles heel, bitch. Yeah. So you wanted vulnerability. There it is. Well, express your feelings. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm so worried I might lose my job, blah, blah, blah. She's gone. I'm out. Bye. But I'm being vulnerable. No, I love like how like guys think, especially like the Justin Baldonis of the world, to think that like crying a little bit, which of course he cries in every fucking show, but crying a little bit and having that sort of emotion. We're going to express ourselves emotionally. I express myself emotionally at Powerhouse Gym every time I'm in the fucking squat rack. Oh, hell yes, I express myself very vocally and very emotionally. God, please let me get this through. I got one more set. But that's not approved. That's not approved vulnerability. And I also saw, I was watching on I don't have the video rolled up yet, but I was watching Chris Williamson, and he was it was a clip from his 2024 What I Learned in 2024. And one of the things he was talking about was vulnerability and how only a certain class of men get to be vulnerable, right? And he used Chris Bumstead as his example. And I think he was the one who had this quote. He says, women always say, and pussy ass sneaky fuckers always say that, vulnerability is a strength, but the average guy cannot be vulnerable. He can't sleep on his fucking couch, at 2 in the afternoon. He can't be vulnerable. He hasn't earned that vulnerability. He has to be bulletproof. He has to make more money. He has to be is Bumstead like the number one bodybuilder?
Yeah.
This era.
Right now,
He's
this
won.
era?
He's won the Mr. O 6 times.
I think it's 6 or 5. I'm not exactly.
But not IFBB. I know Haidt Yamagishi won it in 2023.
Yeah, he's in classic. Not
Oh, okay, because he's older.
Well, no, it's not the older. I don't know if it's classic. What is it? I think it's classic physique.
Yeah.
Instead of being in the actual open.
Okay,
It's not
so
open.
he's not in the same class as Ronnie Coleman.
No.
Okay,
because that's open.
Okay.
Yeah, IFBB classic.
I don't know how they
physique.
classify the shit now. I know because like my friend Alvaro is in he's in like the swimwear physique or the fitness. There's like different categories, I guess, now too. He like dominates that. He would never be able to touch like the bodybuilding side though. But anyway, so Bumstead was talking about how like everybody loves to toss out vulnerability, but he was saying the only way that you get to be vulnerable is if you earn enough man points to be vulnerable, right? You have to make more money than her. You have to be in better shape than her. You got to be 6 feet tall, 6 fat abs. You have to have so much for you to be vulnerable. But the guys who are vulnerable, who are just average, regular, plain, no look guys, though they're punished for that. They're punished for vulnerability, and because women like. As much as they would like to for a guy to be vulnerable, it comes with conditions. If you are, I put it this way, and I don't know if Chris Williamson would ever fucking accept this, but the reason I like Bumstead is on to something. I think there's sort of a prestige factor that goes into this. But when I was writing about vulnerability back in my second book, I put it this way. I said, look, if your personality type or your personality is predominantly alpha and your girlfriend, you happen to have that one moment of vulnerability with your girlfriend is over the fucking moon because she thinks she's the only one that can drag that out of you. Oh, he was vulnerable. He must love me. He broke down in tears and told me about when his cat died that one time. Right. So I agree. And there has to be sort of cool guy points, right? You have to have a certain amount of gravitas as a guy for that vulnerability to work in your favor. Otherwise, it doesn't. You're just this blubbering fucking idiot. You're the CVS employee who stocks the shelves and you're crying. Not attractive. And I think the thing that rubs people the wrong. So here's what rubs people the wrong way. And getting back to the point for today's topic is guys think that wearing vulnerability on their sleeves is a way to identify with the feminine. It's men saying, well, women want guys who can cry on demand. Women want guys who are more emotionally available. Women want guys who have emotional intelligence, which is horseshit. Women want guys who women want guys who tell the truth, but they don't want full disclosure. They want men who are more like women. Like if you ask women what you want in a guy, they're going to get to the point where that dude is going to sound more like a girl. To be a more perfected man is to be just like a chick, which is completely opposite of what they want. But it's they want that familiarity. And like I said before, people hate me when I say this, but women have boyfriends and girlfriends. If you're not fucking her, you're her girlfriend. People get really offended when I say that. But how did I come to that conclusion is that when guys start acting like women and they start behaving more feminine, and they get in touch with their female side, and they get sand in their vagina, right? And they start communicating and identifying with the feminine so thoroughly that a woman's subconscious, her psyche, her hindbrain hears a woman when that guy talks. When that guy's communicating, he's speaking the language of emotionalism. He's not speaking the overt, direct language of empiricism, which is what guys tend to default to, right? Men and women communicate differently. Men focus on content, information. What I'm talking to you right now, I'm giving you information, and we're getting feedback. And how do we kill the woolly mammoth? How do we build a bridge? How do we move to the next territory and fight that tribe? How do we do this? Hey, it's process, it's information, it's data exchange, and then we might worry about how it makes us feel. Women, on the other hand, focus on feelings and emotionalism, and they love and they enjoy the act of communication. Women have a much greater facility with communication. They get more out of it. There's body language, there is subcommunications, there is vocal intonations, there's facial expressions, there's what did you wear to the fucking club that night? Then there's the actual communications. And when women talk, they talk face to face. When men talk, we talk like this, looking out at the world, and we're looking at, hey, what do you think of the game here, Jim? Men communicate differently. So when a man starts to communicate like a woman and using women's, communication styles and using the language of women, a woman's hindbrain sees that guy as another woman, as a girlfriend. If you're not fucking her, you are her girlfriend. That's why when I made the comparison to when a guy's in the friend zone, that is an analogous situation to friends with benefits for a fuck buddy. Because one is all the emotional support and all this emotional investment and all of this identification and sensitivity and being a good listener with no sex expected whatsoever. And then the opposite for a fuck buddy is nothing but fucking hot monkey sex on demand with no emotional investment whatsoever. They are parallels to one another. So the friend zone is the opposite, or is the inverse of fuck buddies, of friends with benefits. And the sooner we figure that, the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you'll get out of the friend zone. Because it's a dead end. You're never going to fuck her. So she still won't fuck you, Roy. But no, the emotional, like, I'm going to be more like her. I'm going to be a male feminist. I'm going to identify more with the feminine. I'm going to be a good listener. I'm going to listen to what she says and do what she wants me to do. I'm going to give up all those things that she says I should give up. I'm going to give up my hobbies. I'm going to change my life and change my personality and change my very identity to be what she expects of me, because that seems the most, you're just using male deductive bonehead logic, right? Men are problem solvers. What's the problem? I want to get laid. Okay, what do I have to do? Let's go ask the chicks. That seems the most logical thing. Let's ask women, what do you want in a man? He's got to be loyal, and he's got to love me, and he's got to be a Fortune 500, and all this stuff what Alex was saying. He's got to be good with puppy dogs. He's got to want children. My mom has to like him. My sister has to like him. My dad has to like him. He has to have a good job. He has to be educated. He has to be intelligent. He has to have all the blah, 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 right? All right, on down. But he has to be a good listener. He has to be vulnerable. He has to be emotionally available. Okay, cool. I know what I need to do. I'm going to do all those things, and I'm going to be a fucking champion at doing those things. And you know what those guys find out? That is exactly the polar opposite of what the chick wants. Then she fucks the guy who's like Tinder swindler. Then she fucks the guy who's a bad boy. Then she fucks Jake Cope. Then she fucks the drummer in the band. That's what she does. Broke ass fucking drummer in a band. That's who she fucks. God damn it. More power to him. You learn the secret of Jake, you will learn the secret of the universe. I'm still trying to get him to tell me. Yes. No, she'll go out with the guy who fucking rocks her world, man. The guy who is emotionally unavailable, the guy who is unwilling to commit, the guy who her parents fucking hate. Yeah, exactly the opposite. So that's why I keep saying, like, I can't even believe I'm still having this conversation in 2025, right? Because I remember listening to this when I was reading this book. It was a fantastic book. And this is, people want to say, Rolo, what's your top 5 books? 48 Laws of Power is always going to be on there. My books, please go buy them on Amazon. On that list is a book by Dr. Warren Farrell. I don't know he's not the greatest, he's not the most masculine guy in the world, but he did write a fantastic book one time in the late 80s. And it was called Why Men Are the Way They Are. And that book was probably one of the catalysts for me thinking differently about men and women, because up until that point, I was doing exactly what the rest of these guys were doing. I was very much blue pill, and I was like, well, how can I be more like a woman? How can I be more alike? Because I thought likes attract. I thought likes, well, you got to have more in common. You have to be compatible. You have to be in touch with your emotions. You have to support her mission. You have to support her. You have to lift her up. She must become more. You must become less. And then at the same time, you still have to be a servant leader and everything else. Right? That's the paradox. But I thought the same thing. I didn't even know it was sneaky fucker game. I just thought seemed like the most logical solution between point A and point B. I want to fuck. I have to find out what women want so that I can fuck them. I become like them. I do what they want me to do, and then I'm going to get fucked. Then I'm going to get laid. That's the male deductive. We're problem solvers. That's male. It follows the deductive logic, right? But as we know, there's no deductive logic with. That's why we call it the rational male and not the rational female. Let's see. Okay. Hang on. Is mental point of origin similar to what's always running on your mind? Yes. If I'm always thinking about sex, that means women are my mental point of origin. If you're always, who's always thinking about? Are you thinking about sex right now, Kyle?
No,
you're thinking about the weed that you're rolling right there. That's what you're.
No, it's already been rolled.
That's already been rolled. Okay. So your mental point of origin is marijuana.
Currently, I guess so.
And it is legal in the state of Nevada. Thank you very much. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could say that your mental point. If all you're thinking about, well, I don't know. Are you heterosexual? Gotcha. Wait, where'd it go? Hold on.
Gotcha, bitch.
I don't know. Are you homosexual? Are you gay?
Oh, those guys are bad.
If I'm always thinking about sex, that means women are my mental point of origin. If you're always thinking about sex, yes, I would agree with that. But again, you have to remember that when I'm talking about mental point of origin, it's like, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind when you're faced with a decision? If that is, well, I could go take this job in the next town over, and your first thought is, yeah, they really have some hot chicks over there that I could fuck when then yeah, I would agree. That is your mental point of origin. But your mental point of origin should be you. And that's kind of a tall order these days, because everybody, especially for guys, you're supposed to think of other people before yourself. You're supposed to make that bitch happy, right? Especially if you're Charlie Kirk, you're not supposed to do anything to the exception of all else until your wife is a woman of leisure, and then you can think about yourself. Go play one video game. Hey, there we go. Hold on. I used your war brides analogy with my older feminist sister about 4 years ago. We haven't spoken since. I'm sorry. Her decision, not mine. Okay. It's an olive branch. You saved my life, Rollo. Been reading and tuning in since 2017. Lift weights.
That's where I'm going after this.
Grow stronger. That's my favorite line in 13th Warrior. I cannot lift this. Grow stronger. The slower a brain matures, the more capable the end product, not the own feminists believe. Yeah, it's not the win that they did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was Galloway's thing. I love that. Galloway's like, well, men don't mature emotionally until they get to be 30. I'm like, yes, but they mature more than women. Like women stop at a certain. No, I know what he's quoting. There's actually there's a 6-tiered emotional maturity thing. And I think it came out of like the 70s or the 80s or something like that. So like take this with a grain of salt, because I'm not sure I actually subscribe to it. But there's this 6-tiered criteria for emotional maturity, and like tier 5 is like where most people get to, and then tier 6 is supposed to be like I'm god tier emotional control or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. Men are the only ones that can get to level 6, right, to tier 6. And that's kind of like people have been bastardizing that tiered level of emotion. You can look it up, it's on Google. It's like levels of emotional security and or emotional maturity is what it is. And so yes, women reach that level 5 if you believe in this bullshit. It's kind of like emotional intelligence, so fuck you, Scott Galloway. But women are supposed to reach level 5 faster than guys do, but guys go beyond it more often than women do, right? They go to level 6, and they never seem to include that in the conversation. It's always, oh, well, women mature emotionally before, like, okay, I don't care what their emotional maturity is. What's their rational, reasonable maturity? Like, what's your cognitive, ability? Because I will tell you this right now, for the last 60, 65 some odd years, as we've sort of standardized on the female experience as being the correct one, and we've prioritized feels before reals. You want to know why the fucking LA is on fire right now? Feels before reals. DEI hires, mayors, Gavin Newsom, the rest of this bullshit, right? You want to know why we're in fucking dire straits right now with our political situation, social situation? Woke women. More women are woke than not. Look where we're at. So don't give me this bullshit. I don't give two flying Scott Galloway, I'm looking at you. I don't give two flying fucks about like emotional maturity in men or women, or who gets there first or who goes past whoever. I want to know about fucking like cognitive rationality, empirical thinking. Where's the criteria for that? Is there like a tiered set? Like, nobody talks about that because nobody cares about that, because follow your heart, it'll never lead you astray. Clearly it has. Clearly we're fucking in a bad place because of feels before reals. Can we do reels before feels, like, for a little while and see how it works out? I don't know. Call me Chris. Maybe that would like switch it up once or twice. Oh, but I hate that shit, because I know what he's talking about, but for me to like break it down would be a full like 2-hour podcast for me to say, okay, here's what he's talking about and it's bullshit. It's like me trying to, like, I mentioned this in the last podcast about emotional intelligence. There's no such thing as emotional intelligence. You could go look on Google right now and you just type in emotional intelligence is, and it'll say bullshit, like inconclusive, is old school thinking, stupid, whatever. But the point of it is like people want to think of emotion as a form of intelligence. It is not. It is a process by which we interpret our reality, our surroundings. There's instinct, there's emotion, and there's reason. Reason, of all those three, reason is the only cognitive one. It's the only one that engages the gray matter. Emotion is the amygdala and the hindbrain, and the part of the hindbrain and in the central core. And then that the stem is where you have instinct, right? That's why they call it the lizard brain. That's what the instinct is. That's the little part of the brain stem that lizards still have, I guess, or like lower life forms all have that sort of like instinctual intelligence, right? Emotion is, like I said, it's not magical. It's not cognitive. I can change your emotional state with 2 shots of tequila. I can change your emotional state with that sticky ass fucking chronic that he's got over there, whatever it is. I can change your emotional state by shooting you up with 200 milligrams of Tren, usually. If I do it often enough. I can change your emotional state and put you right in that squat rack, and you better be glad I did. I can psych you up. I can put you in front of Owen Cook and change your emotional state, because he'll just sit there and just give you that pep rally shit forever, man. And it's good. I can change your emotional state by putting you in an all black Baptist ministered church in the South, and you will see the Lord. Where is this? Did I have this? Do I have that on here? I don't know if I put that. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
I know who my God is.
There's your emotional state.
Hallelujah.
I can change your emotional state with music. So am I emotionally mature? Slayer changes my emotional state every fucking time I hear Angel of Death, man. So I was just gonna say is like the that's not to shit on emotions. I'm not saying emotions aren't important. They are, but I think that it's a misnomer to say that there's a thing called emotional intelligence. No, there's cognitive intelligence, and how you interpret emotions is through a cognitive process, not through an emotional process. That's the only thing. It's a distinction of definitions. The slower a brain matures. Okay, so now it's not even so much about the brain. You know, do men mature slower when it comes to brain function? Yeah, but we hit a state of maturity and self-sufficiency long before that. Like, oh, your prefrontal cortex doesn't completely form until you're 25 years old. Yeah, but you can still drive a car at 16, Scott. You can still go fight and die for your country at 18, Scott. We can't send those poor kids to war. Their brain hasn't matured all the way. Who the fuck cares? Get them out of here. Put them in Vietnam. Nobody cares about that. The only time anybody cares about that is when they're trying to defend the feminine. They're trying to be more. Scott Galloway, male feminist. Fucking Cuttlefish. Cuttlefish. If you're not noticeably short, overweight, or literally autistic, it's not that hard to become a situational alpha Chad on a college campus today. Yeah, I agree. You can certainly fake it pretty well. What do you mean I got to be disingenuous? Yes. Yes, you do. You mean I got to play a role? Rolo, I don't have to be, I don't, it can't be me? Yes. No, you cannot be you. You suck. Women say so. They tell me all the time, you suck. Be somebody else. Be somebody different. That's not shallow. That's not our superficial. That's the fucking facts, my friend. Get yoked. You'll see just how quickly your personality changes, and for the better. Guy, I remember when this is so bad. I remember when I was first started taking TRT, and Mike didn't really get seriously, didn't take me seriously until like week 10, because you don't really notice anything till you're like 10.
It takes
or 12.
a while to feel the difference.
Yeah, you got to do it for a few months. But man, once you get past week 10 to week 12, the colors in your world will change. Yes. And I told him one time, I think I was on Access Vegas. I said, I think that a lot of the guys who are these sort of doom and gloom, nihilistic, MGTOW, black pill doomers, a lot of people who have this sort of negative, it'll never work for me, Rollo. If you shot them full of 150 milligrams of testosterone cypionate once a week for 12 weeks, you will no longer be black pill. You will no longer be. Remember, I told you you can change your emotional states and everything like that. You will not only will you change your emotional state by doing so, you could do so chemically, as I said. I don't have any problem with people being chemically enhanced. Okay, if gear is your thing, go do your fucking gear. Like personal, what is it? Performance enhancing drugs, nootropics, SARMs. You take SARMs?
No.
What does that stand for? SARMs.
I forgot what the acronym is.
I follow this guy on Twitter. His name is Tony Huge.
Tony Huge. I know
He's a big advocate for SARMs, and I'm just trying to figure out what is it like? It's like peptides is another one.
It's selective androgen receptor modulators. So it's basically attaching itself to your androgen receptors, which is what helps build your muscle.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of poor man's gear.
Yeah, but most of the time it's because
to
people like to
simulate
do it.
Gear.
Yes,
okay.
In a shittier version. Being honest, just going gear is better, but there's a lot of different use cases.
So there's the SARM that simulates HGH, and then there's HGH. Yeah. Okay. Well, in any case, like whatever you. I mean, I'm not. I don't smoke weed. Sorry. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't. I mean, I love to go out and party with my friends, but it's like I'm good for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what we're doing. If I'm working, I'll stay longer. But performance enhancing drugs, TRT, getting into fucking just being about it. Nootropics. I think of nootropics. like
lion's mane.
Whatever.
Cordyceps,
Modafinil.
cordyceps.
The only time I ever use modafinil is sometimes before the show. But no, when I'm grinding, when you're doing grind work, if I have to do edits for a book, yes, please. So I quite honestly, I think whatever you have to do to make yourself that much better, I don't have any problem with that. But a lot of people do because they think it's inauthentic. And I saw this. What was it? Oh, it was on Netflix. There was this was right before COVID. I watched this thing and it was called Unnatural Selection, and it was about genetic engineering and mRNA and that kind of stuff, and how they can, like, they're CRISPR engines, right? How to basically leave a space in your genetic code so they can add more at any time. That's why I would never take the vaccine, right? Because it sounded too much like what I saw in that documentary, which was, in hindsight, probably put a lot of people off to that. Now I think about it. But no, it's called Unnatural Selection. I don't know. It's probably not even available. You probably can't even watch it anymore. It was some scary shit too. But no, I watched that, and one of the arguments they said is like they actually tried this. A guy who was a kid who was blind because of genetic disorder. They changed the coding in it, and he got some partial eyesight out of it, right? And so essentially what they're saying, they were worried about designer babies, which of course China was doing immediately right after that. And they were agonizing over, should we neuter these mosquitoes so that they won't give us, malaria kind of thing. It's like, yes. But I remember seeing that. And then one of the principles, or one of the things they were talking about is like, if you have eyeglasses, right, are you cheating? Your eyes aren't really like that. You don't have 20/20 vision. Take those glasses off there.
I have
Rolo.
contacts on. I'm cheating.
Yeah. Are you cheating? Like, but if I go and there's some sort of genetic, I don't know, therapy or whatever to give you perfect 20/20 eyesight, is that cheating?
LASIK.
Is that cheating? Right? Your hair is not that color, Rolo. You dye your hair. Am I cheating? Maybe the authentic Rolo likes to have his hair dark, right? Does that make me inauthentic as a result? No. Right. So, let's see. A message to the dude who displayed his wife's decorations at the home. That woman has MPD. Narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah. Mixed with OCD. You are probably correct. Oh, hey, wait a minute.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. All right, we are, how many? We're 2 hours and 42 minutes into the show. I got my first text from Mike Sartain. Oh, he wants to talk to me about flyers for Access Vegas. Okay. Well, we will get back to that. Yeah, she probably has OCD as well. Oh, here's another I use with my sisters. Feminism is a lie they'll tell each other. Yeah. As Gordon Gekko said in Wall Street, it's about bucks, kid. The rest is conversation. That's true. Damn it, Rolo Tomasi.
Like, man, Rolo Tomasi don't get no hoes, man.
What do you think of women who can't be vulnerable? I've listened to female singers with this problem, and they sound like angry men. Yeah, I think you answered your question. They're angry men. They've been we talk about how men have like feminized themselves. Women have masculinized themselves. So if it is a character flaw to not be vulnerable for men, then why wouldn't it be for masculinized women? The other thing is vulnerability. Like, I'll tell you, the other thing is that's actually a good point, John. We never tell women to be vulnerable, but we tell them quite the opposite. We say, be strong, a strong, independent woman. For a guy, it's get in touch with your feminine side, be emotional, express your emotions, be vulnerable, cry, do all. Essentially, the ideal man is a woman, and the ideal woman is a man. There's been a meme that's been going around recently. It's about like how women will pop off about how I've got my own job, I've got my career, I've got my degree, I'm an entrepreneur, I've got this going on, I've got that going on, I'm an strong independent woman, I live on my own, I pay my own bills, blah blah. And then of course the meme is, that's not being a strong independent woman, that's being a fucking adult. That's what that is. Congratulations, lady, you're an adult. Yes. White knighting and SF corrupted society. SF, sexual freedom, social fuckery.
San Francisco.
San Francisco did fuck up society. Yes. You are correct, sir. Yes, San Francisco 100% corrupted society. Oh God, I used to have accounts in like when I was working for the liquor industry.
Yeah,
I used to have accounts, and this was in like 2018. Right, this was before COVID. Right,
mm-hmm.
And right around 2018, so I had my Northern California accounts. So it was the San Francisco, Oakland, and Sacramento areas. Right, so I would go do on-premise stuff out there. I gave up my San Francisco account because it was just so fucking gross. I couldn't make any money, man. Nobody wanted to go out to the events because there's like human feces on the freaking sidewalks, and there's needles, and that was like just the tip of the iceberg, man. That was 2018. It's 1,000% worse right now. And yeah, that was the first time I ever gave up an account, just because I just couldn't make any money. I didn't want to go back, man.
It's rough.
Nobody else did. Why would I want to be there? Gentlemen, the key word is accommodation. Never accommodate a woman's wants and needs that she is not entitled to, only if she is worthy of it. I would say even worthy of it is, remember, you don't owe a woman a better life, period. End of story. If I put that that was the title of last week's show. Accommodating. Yes, okay, I can go there. I think it was Pook on the SoSwap forums when it says the surest way to destroy a woman is to give her everything she ever wanted. To give her everything. And of course, everybody goes, well,
That's the surest way to do it for men too.
Spoil them rotten.
Yeah, men too. No, because we just heard Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA. Do everything. Give her everything before you think of yourself. That was boiled down. That's distilled. That's the message, right? Give her everything and you get nothing until you give her everything. John Haidt has a great take on emotion versus rationality. Have you read The Righteous Mind? No. Analogizes emotion as a rider. Okay, that I am familiar with. The rider is at the whim of the elephant. Yes. That's kind of like a play on Freud. Freud is it's like the iceberg, right? Above the surface of the iceberg is like your conscious mind, things you can see, just what is there. Below is all of these like psychological things and all the evolutionary things and stuff that go before, and it's a much bigger iceberg below the surface than it is above the surface. But yeah, I mean, I think the analogy is serviceable, but I think the idea that the writer isn't in at least some sort of control over the elephant is a little bit flexible, let's just say. Mike Sartain uses this analogy in a lot of his videos. Since we are on the topic of performance enhancers, if athletes can't use performance enhancing drugs for sports, then why do we let women wear makeup in beauty contests?
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Well, remember when, what was it? If they're going to allow, trans athletes to be in the Olympics and they're on hormone replacement of some sorts, how is that not doping? Right?
Yeah.
I think you should either allow it all or allow none. Period. Very good. Very clever. I'll have to use that one next time I'm on Access Vegas. After you opened my eyes, Rolo, I realized the one thing is almost no one will acknowledge for why there is pop collapse, wokeness, DEI, feminine, etc. is women's nature or role in all of it. Yeah. Because they don't want to draw attention to a female psyche inspiring political or social movements or social change or social like impetus, I guess maybe that's a better way of putting it. We live in a time right now where, and that's unprecedented as far as female control over society. That's why when people go, oh, Rollo, show me evidence of a gynocentric social order. Okay. Go look at the government of France, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, certainly all the Scandinavian countries, Iceland, Greenland in particular. Look at the representation of women in Parliament and in the UK. Look at who are at the time. I don't know if it's the same, but if you look at who is the leader of the IMF and the World Bank right now. And if it's not still women, it was women. It was there was a time where it was the IMF, the World Bank, and I forget the IMF is International Monetary Fund. Yeah. And the Fed, I think it was at the same time. Federal Reserve. They were all female at the time. It's not about who's in Parliament. It's not about who's in the Congress and everything else. It's who's spending the money, who's allocating funds. And when we look at the difference between how men and women allocate resources, it's a much different animal, much different story. So like, I love it when women go, well, we still have more men in the House and the Senate. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Who's spending the money?
Who writes the check?
Who writes the checks, man? Who gets to say where the money goes, right? And I think putting Trump back in office in that situation you're gonna see marked differences in it right now. But I say that not because I think it's Trump. I think it's because it's a more masculine decision-making process than it is a feminine decision-making process. So as I said before, and I brought this up a dozen times, is like in our hunter-gatherer days, women found they're the vulnerable sex, right? They have strength in numbers. Therefore, they are more communitarian. They're more about the collective. They are more about, it takes a village to raise a child. The berry pickers are the ones who have to, and especially for female nature, putting women from a conquered tribe into the population of your tribe's women had to have solidarity. That's where the sisterhood comes from. So when you put women into positions of political power, they default to communitarianism because that seems the most natural way to organize a society. For men, it's hierarchical. I don't see how this is like fucking rocket science. And you know what's going to happen? Some smart son of a bitch or some guy that like Scott Galloway or fucking, Chris Williamson's going to have some guy on there and he's going to go, men organize society hierarchically and women do it in the round and egalitarian. Somebody's going to say that. And it's going to, fucking assholes.
It's an oligarchy.
Yeah. Say my name. Where did it there?
Say my name.
Any plans about republishing the second edition? It should be first quarter of this year. It's already done. I'm just kind of sitting on it because I've been working on Reignite. But yeah, you have to remember that when I do release, because there will be a hardcover version of the first book. I had to go back and edit for content and take out all the syntax errors, which is no small feat, by the way. And then also, so not only do I have to do the print version, I also have to do the KDP. I got to do the Kindle version, and then I've got to do the audio version as well. So I haven't got to the audio just yet because the first thing people are going to go, I'm gonna put it up on Amazon. They go, where's the Audible? Like it's a hardback version. It's the same shit. I might not even do an Audible. I will see. It's not that different. So, Rational Redneck. If a strong and independent man is just a man, then calling a woman strong and independent is just a polite way of saying she's a masculine woman. Clever. No, she's an adult. You're an adult now. Congratulations, lady. You may join polite society. Sneaky fuckers, San Francisco. There's a lot of sneaky fuckers in San Francisco. It could be both. Come on.
It's an entendre.
Oh, Anise and Krill. For Ned and Anna. Ooh, okay, you get one of those. I'm surprised you haven't read Righteous Mind. You really should. I feel like I have because Mike quotes that rider and elephant thing quite a bit. I like it in damn near every one of his videos. He does the on the street videos, and he quotes that quite a bit. I like it well enough. I think it's serviceable, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe I'm trying to I want it to be more complex. Make it make it harder. Make it harder to do. Cryptic coil. I've noticed that people who are the youngest child in their families are usually problematic. I'm not the youngest. Although my brother is pretty problematic.
Hey, I'm the youngest.
Case in point, I rest. The defense rests, Your Honor. For instance, men who were the youngest have the habit of sucking up to authority. Do you have any thoughts on this? Birth order. I don't know.
I mean, I see some validity in it, like some truth in it.
I think we want to like mystify it a little too much. We want it's almost like astrology. Like, oh, you were born as what's your birthday?
January 9th.
January 9th? Okay. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Anyways, so what does that make you?
23.
I know, but what astrological sign?
Shit. Well, I mean, what are we talking about? Chinese?
Normal? Just regular. I don't give two flying fucks. Like regular.
I think I'm like a
American astrology.
Capricorn.
Capricorn. Is that it? Okay, so you're a Capricorn.
Sea-goat.
You're a Capricorn. I wonder what your Myers-Briggs letters are. what's your big five personality trait? No, it's like I think we want to like find ways to like to make like categorize people.
Yeah.
I guess I can understand in some ways, like when we start talking about sociosexual hierarchies, like you want to talk about alpha, bravo, delta, gamma, omega, they're serviceable, I suppose, but I think there's more to it than that. That's why I only ever use alpha and beta. I just distill it down to those two.
I mean, they do have the thing where if you're the youngest child, you actually hold more genes from the firstborn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it actually does pass down. So it could be an amalgamation
that could be. I would be more inclined to subscribe to that simply because of like law of behavioral genetics, right? So it's probably, it's funny. We should probably look that up. I bet if I went through the 4 laws of behavioral genetics, I could find a link to birth order.
Probably,
yeah. I bet there is. Yeah, I don't. So, do you suck up to authority? You're the youngest in the thing.
Well, what's authority?
That's what he asked. Yeah, really. Who's authority?
Who's authority?
For instance, who are youngest have the habit of sucking up to authority. Do you have any thoughts on this? Well, I'm the oldest in my line, and I have one younger brother. So, but how many brothers do you have?
2.
2 brothers. So Miguel and a middle brother, and you're the youngest. Okay. You have a sister?
No.
Okay. So it's just the 3 of you.
Yep.
Tres hermanos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But do you suck up to authority? I don't think you suck up to authority. Not that I've ever noticed, but who knows? I don't know. I would have to look that up. I don't know enough about the birth order thing, but I do know this is like we really want to find ways to categorize people, to make people to simplify people. And I think that people will always have a capacity to surprise you in some way, shape, or form. So, that's one of the Myers-Briggs is like so reliant on Jungian psychology that it's not even funny. And it's like no one gives it any credence whatsoever. It is astrology is essentially what it is. But then so are Enneagrams. And if you're a evangelical Christian, you know what an Enneagram are. Numerology. Sorry, Gary, the numbers guy. Well, now he's going to see this and go, oh, fuck you. I'll debate you. Numerology. You couldn't tell me that the Vegas Golden Knights were going to win. He got into it with Andrew Wilson recently. Andrew Wilson was like coming up on him, so talking about how like numerology is like satanic, it's demonic or some shit like that. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this one. You thought Mike Sartain and Gary were a good match, man. I can't wait for this. It's funny to see like super religious, Andrew go at super grifter, super astrology guy. I got all these things right. I got, yeah, you didn't get one thing right. Who won the 2023 Stanley Cup? This guy got it right. I should do numerology. You should come to me, man. Apparently I can do it just as well as anybody else can. For Ned and Anna, will you be around the CMC meetup? The Emperor provides. The CMC? What's the CMC?
Crypto Mindset event?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. Anything that's crypto, anything that Miguel asks me to do, I will happily do because I knuckle under to authority as the oldest in my line. Did you see feminist dude, use spaces, dude. Did you see feminists wanting to raise the age of consent to 25? Good luck. Why would you want to do that? If you're a feminist, what planet does that make sense? You know why they want that? Because if the age of consent is 25, you know what? You better be careful what you wish for, because all these teachers who are like nailing their or statutorily raping their students, you might have a real problem on your hands, ladies. The only reason they want to do that is because I'll tell you this, because we're sick and tired of seeing these youngsters get with old guys. That's why. That's what you want paranoia. There you go. The only reason they want to raise the age of consent to 25 is because they don't want older dudes banging 18-year-old girls. That's why. And funny thing is, all I see is Bonnie Blue trying to go after 18-year-old dudes, and she's 25 years old. So ladies, you go take care of your own house before you come to mine. I like your law of a guy should cry only when his dad or dog dies. Jordan Peterson should learn that from you. Jordan Peterson cries on demand. That guy's a great actor, man. Jeez, Oscar winning. Rolo, have you tried Tonkat Ali?
Tonkat Ali.
What is that?
It's a supplement.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
What does it do?
I'll find out. I forgot what it was.
Tonkat Ali. I never even heard of that. I'm in. Just because it's just on the name alone. Tonkat Ali.
It's a.
Oh, should I bring this up?
Supposed to be for like fertility, other stuff like that. Hope you get it up.
Oh, is that what it's for? It's for
like
ED?
That.
Is it supposed to give you a
test booster?
It's supposed to give you a boner? Is that what it is? Oh, a test booster. Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. It works quite well. Okay. Does it work as well as, what is it? Tadafil?
Or
Tadafil?
Tadafil.
Sildenafil is Viagra, right?
Yeah, Cetaphil or Tadafil.
Tadafil's the only reason I know Tadafil is because I know bodybuilders were taking it for other things.
The
pump, yes. Which I don't know why. Yeah, the pump.
Definitely
the pump.
I will say
it will be the pump.
You do get the greatest pumps on it.
Yes, I bet you do. Yeah. What are you, 23 now?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need Tadafil.
No, I don't. But
you need a fucking pill to make it go down. Going up. Might lose your hair for it. Couldn't be any more than I already have. So I have people going on me, Rollo, why don't you take that fucking headband off? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why does that bother you? I thought about that. Like, why does it bother you that I wear like a beanie? Oh no, it was it was Tim Pool. Tim Pool was on like national television. I think he was on CNN, or they brought him on one of these news shows, and they're like, he still won't take the beanie off when he's on national television. I wouldn't either. I didn't even take my beanie off for Dr. Phil. In fact, I made sure. I told him, I said, this is my thing, so I'm going to keep my fucking beanie on, right? They're like, yeah. I have pictures of me with my beanie off. I just like the look and I like the thing. People go, why don't you take it off? I can take it off anytime I want. But like, am I bald? No. Am I thinning? Yes. So, but that goes back to the authenticity thing, right?
Yep.
I was thinking like if I go and I get hair hair transplant like Myron did or Justin.
Go to Turkey.
Am I fake? Am I being inauthentic?
Yeah.
Am I not being who I really am? All right. What if I decide I'm going to put on contacts instead of my glasses? I wish I can't, but
I mean, there's that surgery that you could extend your femur. Yeah, to get taller
at 56 years old. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Yeah.
I've seen the guys.
I need to, because all the dudes that are successful that I hang out with are at least 6 feet tall. So why not? All I need is 1 extra inch. That's all. How hard could that be? I mean,
year of recovery.
How long will I be in the hospital for 1 inch? It's not like I need an extra 4. Yeah. You don't need that if you are on TRT. Okay. I need more TRT. I was looking at SARMs though. I was checking out SARMs recently. And of course, everybody knows I do peptides in the summertime. That's when things really get crazy. All right, let's get out of here. Let's see what announcements. Access Vegas will be on Thursday. I don't know what the topic is. We will have Trey Little in here with me though. He is the rapper from Detroit. He's been a really good friend of mine for a while now. He will be our guest, and he's also the guy behind By the Block, which is in Detroit. He was trying to, I don't know if he has done it yet or not, but he was going to buy the entire block of his childhood neighborhood.
Wow.
Because it's in a really sort of depressed area, and he wants to gentrify it, right? He wants to like build it back up. So he's been like wanting to buy his childhood home and then all the surrounding, like basically the whole block. That's what I call it, By the Block. And so I don't know if he was successful with that. He might still be in the process of doing it, but that was one of the things he was doing. He's really kind of giving back to his community in Detroit. So there's a possibility he might want to move to Vegas at some point too. So that's always cool. It's always a good time when he's here too. So he's a really good dude. So he will be the guest with us on Access Vegas, which will be on Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time. People always want us to do it earlier. I'm like, I would do it earlier if I thought I could get the girls here earlier. But shit, getting them here at 8 is a freaking miracle. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Reignite is still something I'm doing. We're planning events. If you want to know what those events are, join the club. Reignite Community, which is the first. It's the second link down in the descriptions there. I also have a link to my book, which is now changed. The link, the very first link there in the description, that's to my Audible. So a lot of people were asking me about the Audible link, and so I just figured, what the hell? I'll just give it to you guys. If you're looking for the audio version of all of my books in the Rational Mail, all of them are on Audible. I'm also in the process of turning these shows into audio podcasts for Spotify. So if you are a fan of my Anchor podcasts, everything is like Anchor got bought out by Spotify. So I'm in the process of transferring everything over to my Spotify, my default Spotify thing that they give you when they bought them out. So if that has been your thing and you want to listen to me in the gym while you're getting your pump on Tadalafil, then you could do so. And then also, okay, last order of business. People always ask me this, like, Rollo, what is the name of the song that's in the beginning of all of your podcasts? And I am going to show you exactly where you can find that now, because I now play in a band called Jinx. And let's see, where is it? We are on Reverb Nation. Look, there we are. That's us. The first song is the title track from the album, which is called Sick. The second one down is called Told You So, which is right here. And Told You So is the song that you listen to every time. It's the clips. It's been diced down, so for the time, but the entire song is available there, and as well as some other stuff. And you can see us here. We also are on Instagram if you are interested. It is Jinx Las Vegas, and so because we have to be, there's another band called Jinx, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't like stepping on their fan base. So, anyways, that's where you can find it. It's called Told You So. It's this one, like the second one down here, so you guys can grab that there if you are so inclined. And then it is at reverbnation.com, and it's Jinx Las Vegas, and that's it. And then you can also, by the way, you can find that in the description below. So people always ask me that. And then the next most popular question I get is, who plays your outro music, Rollo? Where do I find Best Head of My Life, which is also the theme song for Access Vegas. That was written by my good friend Jevani Sanders. And you can find that on Apple iTunes. Just put in Jevani Sanders on Apple. Okay. It's not on Spotify. I don't know why it doesn't have it on Spotify, but it's on Apple iTunes, Apple Music, whatever. Put in Jevani Sanders, put in Best Head of My Life, and you'll find it there. I think the link in the description right now is old, but all you got to do is go to Apple Music or Apple iTunes and just type in Jevani, Jevani Sanders, and then put in Best Head of My Life. You can find it. Like, I think Sam will probably find the link for you here in a minute. But people always ask me, I always like, we're on our way out and I'm like looking at this, I'm looking at the chats and everything. And people, what's this song? I can't say anything. But you can find it on Apple iTunes. So there you have it. And you can download it or add it. If you have Apple Music, then you can also add it to your playlists too. So you can check that out there. And I think that's it for us. Thank you, Kyle, for being my producer today. Yeah. And we will see you guys next Sunday. And again, Access Vegas this Thursday. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.
I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by and went over like a matchbox stereo.
All right, all right, all right.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery acid.
Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up every wall while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stubbing with her head. Like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me, ride me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song, getting nasty. Working up and down on your body. Run me, ride me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song on your body. Baby,
no, you're wrong.
City Podcast has been a production of the Irrational Male. All rights reserved 2025. Registered trademark. Don't steal my stuff.
Dump that bitch!
Stop the cap.
Gotcha, bitch!
Hello there, children.
Bye, Felicia.
God wants you to have the baby.